5:30. Welcome to City Council meeting tonight. This City Council work meeting is being held on September the 17th, 2025, and it is 5:30 p.m. This meeting is being held at the City Office Building, the Council Chambers at 10 North Main Street. We're honored to have our new Finance Director, Terry Marsh, to lead us in a prayer, after which Randall McEwen will once again lead us in the pledge. You must be sitting there. Natasha.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Heavenly Father, as we gather here today, we are grateful for our beautiful community. We humbly seek your guidance and wisdom. Grant us clarity of thought and understanding as we embark on this meeting. Help the city leaders to make decisions that align with your will and bring about positive incomes. We ask for your grace to unite us in harmony and understanding. May all deliberations echo peace and fairness. And we place this meeting, our minds and our hearts, in your hands so that you may direct us. Amen.
Amen.
Please repeat with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody okay with the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Mayor, I would move that we approve the agenda order for tonight's work meeting.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Did I see Mr. Riddle? Aye?
Yes. Yeah.
I try and watch.
Yeah, I did.
Sorry, thank you. Good. Just a comment, I don't see Public Works is not here yet, or maybe not coming. If you get a chance, drive down Airport Road and look at the Public Works building. I think it's looking pretty good.
It is a good-looking building.
It's looking really good.
Yeah, and I think, and they're doing, I hope they do a real great job inside as well. And I think that will, of course, lift spirits when you work in a place that looks great. So if you haven't seen it, drive down Airport Road. It was just a metal building, but a really good one. It looks really nice. Thank you. I had the opportunity today to participate in that reading of the Constitution again, and I thought it was fun and very, very interesting. I was out at the APA.
Where did you do it today?
API.
Oh, APM.
APA.
Oh.
I don't know if there's others. That's the only one I've ever been invited to.
Well, we had the one here. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah, so there was that one, but yeah.
And he read the proclamation declaring it the Constitution Week, but yeah.
Sure. Anyway, I have something else, but I have no clue what it was. It's gone.
It'll come to you, Mayor. You have that
Maybe it
ability to
will.
bring it up anytime you wish.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anything from council members?
Mayor, I just wanted to remind all of those that might be inclined and available that this Saturday morning at 8 a.m. we're going to begin our harvest decorating in downtown. It's always at the will of the corn stalks and when they're available. This year we have beautiful flowers. Our petunias are doing so beautiful right now on Main Street. We're going to try a first. We're going to try and keep the flowers up and decorate around them, so we'll see how well that goes. But should be a lot of fun, and I know we've got some good volunteers coming, and we'll try and get that whipped out in a couple hours.
Thank you.
Where are you meeting right here?
Pardon?
Where do you meet?
Right here by Cache Valley Bank.
Mayor, I just had, anybody else have anything? Couple things. One is a follow-up from last week. I drove by it today. That lot on 800 West has already been taken care of. The one across the street from the fire station that Mr. Brooks came and talked to us about. So I called them. Called the owner on Monday, and he had his crew over there yesterday and today, and it's all taken care of. It's all cleared off. So
Wonderful.
So that, and then I know it's a UDOT project, but I've started having a lot of constituents asking, do we have any kind of an idea on the timeline of the roundabout at 1150 and
You mean everybody in town has called you?
holy cow. Yeah, there's a lot of people starting to ask, like, when is that thing going to be done?
Wasn't the preliminary done this year, and then they're gonna start next spring?
No, they're constructing it right now. It's closed.
Oh, you're talking about the one on
By the
Cedar,
football
not
football
south
stadium.
interchange.
No.
Got it,
Yeah,
got
the
it.
one.
Yeah.
I have not heard an update. The last I had heard was that it would be done in October. It's looking like they're gonna have to really hurry if they're gonna make that
Well, there's nobody
timeframe,
even
so.
there, is there?
That's
So I'm
what the
not-
constituents are starting to
Yeah.
say, is it's
There's not.
closed, and
There's nobody working there.
then the other one that I've also been asked about quite a bit, I'd like to know what
Could I
our,
respond to that? I did speak with President Benson, and she told me that UDOT has told them it'll be November,
Okay,
but that's all I know.
okay. And then the other one is, what is the city's guideline? I've had a lot of people asking about South Mountain Drive as well. We had a road opening there for one of the developers, and the road has been closed
For
for
weeks.
a long time, and people are starting to get a little frustrated. What is like our normal, when you have to tie in a sewer or a water line and we allow you to do a road cut, how long do we normally allow you to keep the road closed for?
I'm not sure on that, to be honest. Our street division of Public Works generally works with them on those road cut permits. I'm not sure what timeframe they've been allowing.
I don't know about you. I mean, I would like to see if we have something in place.
It's been at
and
least
maybe-
3 weeks that it's been closed.
I don't know if there's a way to put something in the books that say you can only have it closed for this long, like you've got to get it open.
When you have two bonds that are currently posted. It's a 14-day bond and a 1-year bond. So the maximum time that your permit is good for is 14 days to open it and close it. We haven't really had a lot of problems with the 14-day closure period. Sometimes I got to put a plate over it and open it back up to traffic and then close it and do those types of things. But the 14-day closure's been sufficient for us for a number of years.
Well, there's too many variables to put a fixed time on it anyway, so you just kind of deal with it as you encounter it, in my opinion.
If we're having problems with that, we can ask the engineer assigned to that project to go and push the contractor a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll look into that.
okay. That was it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff? Anyone? Nope. Very good.
Oh,
Pub-
I
oh,
do
you
have one comment, and I need to know if you guys have feelings either way. There was a group from St. George, and they're the fellas that are tied up with the dinosaur tracks down in St. George. And they found some fossilized remains on our property up the canyon, west of Milts, north of the highway. We own some property there. And they found 2 fossil impressions up there. And they've written us and asked us if we mind if they give those fossil impressions over to the Frainer Museum to be housed locally here in town. I didn't have any feelings either way. I wondered. if you
How
had-
large are
They're
they?
not very large.
I don't see
So
it.
they would
that's a
like
great
excavate
place for
around and take the whole impression, dirt and all?
I'm not sure how much dirt they would have to take out. Council member, the fossil impressions are not very large. They're probably maybe the size of the seat area on one of the chairs. So
Yeah.
they're smaller.
Cool.
They say that we could have some more up there, and I'm anticipating they'll want to go look around.
That's a good place for them to be stored.
And the
Frainer
Frainer, that's in
Museum, you
New
guys
Harmony.
No, that's the
Frainer.
one.
No, it's on
No,
campus.
That's
It's
the
on
one in the
campus.
science building on
Because
campus.
didn't he had a well there?
Yeah, they have one down there.
Okay.
Okay, I'll write them back and let them know. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mayor, I did have one more thing. I'm so sorry. The youth city council met last Monday, and we're in transition. We'll be electing a new class here next month with them to begin in November sometime. And they are doing a service project. They're going to be cleaning some weeds on sidewalks down on 200 South, and that was their idea in October for their final service project to do some sidewalk cleaning. But just, they're a good bunch of kids, and now we'll try and get some new ones.
I actually did get, sorry, I got asked one other question this week that I forgot to mention. Do we have, it's from one of our local organizations that feel like they'll want to be part of the process. Do we have any idea on our impact fee study? Just timeline, roughly.
Yeah, I've corresponded back and forth with our consultant. The last thing they were waiting on was information from Iron County to verify some of the data in their spreadsheets. I'll hit them up again in the morning, but I haven't had much luck pinning them down on the time.
Okay.
Thank you, and thank you, Scott, for all your, Mr. Phillips, for all your work with the youth council.
Absolutely.
Great. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot
They
of
keep
work.
us young.
There you go. Thank you. Public comments tonight? It's a work meeting, so if you want to talk about something on the agenda, we'll recognize you at that time, but if there's anything else that you came to talk about, now would be the time. Seeing none, we'll start with the public agenda. Item number 1, a public hearing to consider a general plan change from low-density residential, LD, to central commercial, CC, and a zone change from master plan development, MPD, to central commercial, CC, for a property located in the vicinity of 3000 North Canyon Ridge Ranch, Canyon Ranch Drive.
Good evening, Dallas Buckner, Go Civil. This is a zone change request out on Canyon Ranch off the North Interchange by Auto Mall. The general plan, which is shown on here, there's a heavy black line right there. So the general plan that the city has everything west of this line shown as central commercial, and then everything east of that line over here is shown as low-density residential. So we're proposing a zone change for the entire, this entire parcel's 39 acres. We're doing a zone change request and general plan amendment to make it all central commercial. We brought this before the Planning Commission. We had a pretty lengthy discussion about more just pushing commercial this far, and then the surrounding area with the Esplin property that was to the kind of northeast of here. But we did get a positive recommendation with some stipulation from Tom Jett to work with the city on a north-south road connection through there.
This is the piece that currently zoned MPD. We don't have much on, we know it's MPD, but it wasn't filed or finished or something.
Correct, yeah. The way they did it back then, which was backwards in my mind, is they got the zone change first and then planned for the development agreement, or whatever they would call it at the time, later. And they never got to the later.
So we don't know like what the pods were, what the plan was. It was just,
Well, we have what they proposed. I mean, I can send it to you. It's, I think, 70 pages or something like that. But it's, again, it's not binding. It was
Never
wishful.
passed.
It was wishful thinking at best at the time. It's as
Okay.
far as we got.
any inclination, are you I mean, at this point, what's the plan there? Is it planned for just one big development or one?
So my discussions with the developer, and then we also had sat down with Kent and talked about, so we need to extend this road to our frontage. The developer has been in discussions with Sitla as far as an east-west road that we could potentially share the cost in. And then commercial is just so speculative, it's hard to say what size you need. And so we've talked internally, we haven't submitted anything to the city formally, but we've talked about doing a road dedication to bring a road that kind of loops through here. But we would have commercial parcels.
So the idea
that
would
are-
be smaller, mid-sized commercial parcels. This is not for one giant commercial parcel. Their plan would be to probably eventually break it up into smaller ones.
Yeah, but depends on what you call small. I mean, basically what we're talking about doing is doing a road dedication through there so that there's a road dedicated, and then probably just speculative utility hookups. But if someone comes in and says, I want a half acre, I want a 5 acre, I want a 10 acre, then we kind of carve it up accordingly based on whatever the market demand is for out there.
And it's right next to Second East, right, where that road's. the general
Correct,
plan
yeah,
road
so
is
there's
going to be
Second East,
master
and then
plan road
there's
is
a
wide.
big Sitla piece, there's this piece, and then there's the Twin Oaks piece. And then you would continue this road out to the Esplin property
Right.
and up into
So
their
it fits
pods.
well there, in my opinion.
Yeah, and where part of it's already commercial. I mean, it's when, general plan lines don't follow parcel lines. So anytime we cut a parcel in half, you're gonna have to go one way or the other, so. I mean, I don't necessarily have a huge problem with this. I mean, I don't like to lose residential, but at the same time, a third of it's already commercial anyway, so.
Yeah, and Kent's pulling up the map. be helpful to see, a lot of our discussion was just talking about extending commercial. So this is the existing road. Our parcel is in the orange to the east of the general commercial. There you go. So there's the general plan shown in red. So ours is about right here. The Esplin, I don't know if that was an RDO. No. It's just a zone.
No, it's a bunch.
It's a development agreement and
Okay.
then some zone changes.
So, but they had this red area here that's open space, and then they had their higher density or their residential neighborhood, and then their R3. So this was planned to be open space within their property, and then we kind of abut up to it. So we don't anticipate that there would be residential backing up to this. And then this also kind of falls off to a channel that's a fairly defined drainage channel and then starts coming back up the hill. So all these houses would be on top of a hill that would look over this, so it's not like we're butting up to backyards.
So Dallas, I'm right here, sorry. You know, it's hard to tell where the voices are coming from, right? Voice of God, right? I'm just wondering, the same developer owns all of that property currently, correct?
Yeah, so it's all under Fiddler's Canyon, our parcel.
Okay. I mean, I do question the idea of having low density right next to central commercial. There needs to be some type of feathering. I guess my question would be, in their plans to try and lure the appropriate central commercial or whatever it might happen to be, do they feel there's a need to have that all right now? Because they already own it. I mean, I'm just wondering if we need to go all the way that far to the east in order to make this a viable selling option for a potential commercial entity.
Well, I think part of the, Ken, if you zoom in a little more, do the parcel lines pop in? So when you look at our parcel here, which is what we're zoning, and then you have this that's already zoned by the city, you really just have this Twin Oaks, which I think is CV, his parcel, and then he has this other parcel. So to me, this looks like it's probably gonna all turn into commercial where you come down to a drainage and then you start coming up a hill. So I don't know that there really is a lot of residential possibility back there. And then it's hard to tell with the shading over it, but there's a large gravel pit that was already excavated back in that corner. And so that potentially would turn into some kind of stormwater or something for us. But you look at kind of this quadrant right here and say we're probably not filling it in, it's pretty substantial, so.
Is the blue line the general plan?
No, the general plan is broken out with these different colors and shading. I think this is airport
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah.
airport offsets.
gotcha.
So I remember when we were working on the general plan, the committee had a meeting in the chambers. I wasn't on the committee, so I didn't go to all the meetings, but there was one here so this was about 4 years ago or so, that they spent probably 45 minutes to an hour talking about this very area.
We did.
And I think most of the discussion was, it'd be great if all of this were commercial,
I think that was the discussion.
but
We want commercial.
also, you know, we do have more commercial designated generally as a city than we would ever have rooftops to support. And so we didn't want to really devalue properties by forcing them to be commercial when they didn't want to be. So we left a lot as low density, and there was some discussion, well, should we have some as medium or, you know, some kind of other, and what's there now is kind of what was settled on, but it definitely was a huge point of debate. And it was more out of caution to, in light of property values and planning and not forcing anything on the landowners we didn't want forced upon them. And so, I think in this case, if the landowner, if this is what they want, especially where it is commercial, which is, I mean, that's what pays for just about everything the city does. Residential really doesn't. And where it's in an area that's been designated for that, and all the other things you brought up, I don't see an issue with that here at all.
And the owner is the one that owns the R1, right? The same owner. So
Yes, yeah.
to me, it's a non-issue. I mean, if they want to do R1 there, And the perceived devaluing, then that's on them as a landowner, right?
Yeah.
So I don't see a need for feathering where they own the whole piece.
Yeah.
Kent, on something like this, as far as the infrastructure, I'm assuming the impact of that much commercial is not going to be much different than that much of residential. I mean, we're fine on the infrastructure stuff.
It really depends on the
Type of commercial.
type of commercial, yeah. And so we had a lot of discussion about whether this, change to the general plan and zoning should be modeled, but what would we model? We don't know, with there being such a wide range of commercial uses. So when they do have more identified uses, then we would be requiring some modeling at that point to assess those impacts.
Like if they pack it full, if they pack it full of all hotels, that would definitely put a bigger impact than having a bunch of R1 housing. But if they put a bunch of retail stores, that's going to have a lot less impact than. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I guess it just depends when it comes time for them to put through building plans, then we'll go from there.
I have one more question just for clarity on the Canyon Ranch Drive Road itself. As this is developed along there, is that the 100-foot wide road that we discussed?
Yes.
Okay.
And then if I could make just another comment, if that's all right, regarding the transportation system. So right now, we do not have in our master plan a second north-south roadway through this area. It's becoming more and more clear that we need a second north-south roadway. We have a study that's going on right now that involves UDOT and the county, Enoch and Cedar City, to look at the movement of traffic, throughout this area. And yeah, we are seeing that there's definitely a need. So one of the things we're trying to work towards is getting a north-south road that could, the traffic impact study for the Esplin property shows the need for a second road to come out. We want that road really to come down through this area somewhere, north-south, and eventually connect over to Wedgewood, south of Second East, so that we don't have to take all of the traffic through the intersection right there by Second East and Terrible's. And so that was part of the discussion we had with Dallas and his client early on. Was, he talked about a roadway coming up their boundary, also talked about trying to get a north-south across there. So Planning Commission's recommendation was on a split vote. I will say it wasn't a unanimous recommendation, but their recommendation was to approve this, but they wanted to get some assurances that we get a north-south road coming across here that could tie into the other properties to the north and to the south, so we can establish that corridor that we know we need.
But the only way to get that assurance would be to adjust the road master plan, which we don't have anything, you don't know what to do yet, so.
Right. I think when we get the results of that study, that will help us to come forward with a proposal for a change in the master plan. I think what Planning Commission was concerned about, and if there's someone else who was there that doesn't agree with what I say, can correct me, was that we just wanted to make sure that on this parcel, we have that kind of conditioned into this zone change, that they would cooperate to get a north-south road across this property that would be part of that overall roadway.
Is there a way to add that in a development agreement, Randall, of some kind?
Couldn't that be part of the motion, though, at the time that this is voted on?
Kind of.
How do we hold?
Yeah, if you did it as a contingent, we wouldn't be able to actually change the zone until that contingency occurred, which would be a little messy to track, and also when they try and bring things through. The normal way would be to have a development agreement come through, and we could have it contingent upon that. At least that wouldn't have it sit there with an open contingency for years.
Yeah, because the development agreement we could do in the next round of meetings, so the contingency would fall off and would be satisfied in a few weeks.
And where the development agreement doesn't give them any extra rights that aren't already in ordinance, that's an accelerated timeline, isn't it?
It is a little bit faster, and it doesn't require the public hearing part of
Yeah.
it. It still would, our ordinance still requires a planning commission meeting, but
Right.
it doesn't require quite all the delays for publication and stuff.
Okay.
So how do we hold them to something that we don't know what's going to be, that is maybe based on a study that we're going to do? I don't understand how we do
How
that.
do we run
Well,
the road out here to know?
I guess first off, we already know of the need for the second access to the Esplin property, right? So I would say that we already know. What the study's going to tell us is how significant is that need? How big does that road need to be? How much traffic does it need to be able to carry? So I think that's what we're going to learn from this other study. We already know we need the road.
Along with that, I mean, just because we put the line on the map doesn't mean we can get the other parties on board either, right? So what would that process be? Because I believe that road would pass through Sitla property and maybe some belonging to Linford Nelson.
That's correct.
So before they could ever pull a permit, would they need to get those easements secured, or?
I would say no, because the road making the connection all the way to Wedgewood wouldn't be needed for their project. It's something that we would add to the master plan. They would be accommodating it through their project, and the other properties as they develop would have the same requirement, once we have that on the master plan.
Randall, is there a way on our development agreement to put maybe a timeline of when we agree that they'll agree that we're gonna be doing it, but we have to have it on our master plan by a certain future date, so that they're not thinking, oh, 10 years from now, if they decided to add it to a master plan, then we have to worry about it. Like, on the contrary, I want to not leave them hanging open for a long time. So say, 12 months or 24 months, that the development agreement says, we'll have a master plan, we'll have something figured out within a timeline, so
Oh, yeah, no, that's easy enough.
just so we're not leaving them open-ended either.
We amend our general plan all the time. Why can't we amend the master transportation plan?
Oh, we do.
No, and we can. I think the concern being is, and it
but if
goes
they're-
towards the, can we bind the related parties? Well, as soon as we have it in our master plans, yes.
Yeah.
As soon as they try to develop, we would have a requirement that they put it in.
I just feel if we're gonna add something in the development agreement that says, hey, we're gonna be adding a master plan road in here, and you're gonna cooperate, I'd like them to know that we plan on doing that within a certain amount of time, not just,
The landowners are the same out there that they were when the MPD was proposed, I don't know, 10-plus years ago.
Yeah.
And a component of those
The master plan.
early drawings and sketches was this north-south road, so
Okay.
I don't think it's new to these guys that there's a need for something in that area along those lines. It might not be in the same spot, but I think they all kind of see the need out there.
Thank you.
okay?
This is a public hearing, so why don't we hear from the public?
Yeah.
At this time, I'll open that.
I just have a question. Does the city,
You need to
Who are
state
you,
your name.
sir? Who are you?
Phil Schmidt, just a question. Right here, does the city still own property back up here for recreational use, or did they get
Nope.
rid of that?
No.
We traded
Traded
it.
No.
The other
that's
park
gone.
is.
We traded it back.
That was my question, because I was going to say, this is a great opportunity to get water and sewer back there, but never mind, it's gone.
That's why we traded.
Other public comments on this one?
The biggest reason.
Seeing none,
Move this to action?
Yeah, that'll go
Thank
on
you.
action, I'm sure.
beyond action. Thank you. Item number 2, public hearing to consider general plan change from highway regional commercial to central commercial CC, and a zone change from highway services HS to central commercial CC for a property located in the vicinity of 110 South Main. We apologize for having plat on that.
I'm like, wait a second, he's standing up, but he's still there. I'm like,
It's
who's
supposed
this?
to be plat, not
Yeah,
go civil.
It was all confused even. in
Little
our office.
mistake.
Just give them part of your commission. It's all good.
It's all good. We're all here. Mike Platt with Platt and Platt Engineering. We are just here to present a general plan and zone change for this piece on South Main Street. I don't know if you read the minutes for Planning Commission. They want to build a animal hospital out there, and they can't do it in the current zone.
Yeah, commercial allows a vet and
Highway service
highway service doesn't.
doesn't.
But I guess in a way with this, I mean, this is by definition spot zoning, correct? Because everything around it is,
By definition, it would be. The uses on either side are also allowed in the zone they're requesting. In that sense, they would be compatible uses. I think there's a couple of things that make this make some sense. One is that this property will not have direct driveway access to Main Street. There is access easement across the back of these parcels. You have tag and go on this side. You have credit union under construction on the other side. this isn't an ideal location to try to put in what you would consider a highway services zone type of use. So I think this does tend to fit, I think, with what is going on there and what would make sense to put on that property. I think that's why, from the staff level and the planning commission level, there wasn't a lot of concern with this one.
I don't think spot zoning's been a concern for over 20 years with the state of Utah. They look at it more of, does it make sense with the general stuff that's around you? They don't look at the label on the zone that's applied.
Was there any discussions through this whole process of potentially just adding animal hospitals to something that's allowed in highway service so we didn't have to do a zone change? Or is there a reason why we're?
Yes, there was a
sticking-
discussion about that. and-
Highway service zone was originally intended to be a zone that serves the traveling public. I don't know how much of the traveling public has their dog or cat and needs an emergency vet.
Oh, are you kidding? You gotta be kidding.
I don't have good numbers on that.
Mr. Jett was
Oh,
going to
wow.
look into that and try and see if they could make things a little more
The
open,
plan-
so.
Yeah, the planning commission was given homework last night to
Yeah.
take home the use table.
Okay.
And so we will be discussing that more, not just this, but in other areas as well, to see if there are any changes of uses that we want to have there.
I think my only question was, and I think it was addressed in planning commission, is to make sure that this animal hospital restricts to small animals, cats, dogs.
No, but we didn't limit it,
Well,
but.
State
very
your name
few-
for the
are
record,
you?
Very few
Tom.
people, Tom Jett, very few people bring their cow to the vet or their horse to the vet.
The vet
Usually
goes
the
to
vet
them.
goes to
Yeah.
them.
Usually.
I know, but it's just,
But you might get a large
Maybe
dog.
exceptions to every rule, but that's not the norm.
yeah.
I think even more so than just this particular issue, I think there are a number of areas on 200 North and on South Main where highway service as a general plan made sense before the city infilled around it. And I think this is one of those places, but
Yeah, exactly.
How big is that parcel?
3/4 of an acre,
0.67 of an acre.
just barely open.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what they're planning on building there, but most of your large animal vets need more land than that usually.
It's just,
so.
yeah, from my gathering, it's just a small vet, nothing crazy.
Much like the animal hospital we have on the North Main.
Yep, right next to the hospital, right there by,
It's got stables.
that one does?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Oh,
I would
But it's been
not want
there
that on me.
I don't know how often they're used, but there's stables behind it.
oh, okay.
25
Well,
years.
Once again, this is a public hearing. Should we open a public hearing on this item number 2?
Do you think this is any?
Anyone here for that one?
Living here?
Okay,
Some kind of a problem.
There's behind.
put on action.
Do zone changes have to go on action?
No more.
Yeah,
Yes.
the ordinances.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
Smelly dogs.
car wash is probably.
Okay, item number 3, a public hearing again to consider an ordinance vacating a public right-of-way at approximately 900 north and 3700 west. Mr. Platt again.
Mike Platt with Platt and Platt Engineering. Yes, this is our project that just
Oh,
keeps
yeah.
on giving. So we got the development agreement that came through last couple of city councils. This is gonna be vacating the road, and just to tell you what's coming through next would be the zone changes and how they're gonna align the new zones. And part of the development agreement is to add better connectivity between the zones.
Yep.
Kent's on board, we're all on board, it makes sense.
This is just the next step
This is
in the
the next
process.
step. We have one more, and
Yep,
then we'll be complete.
I think it makes sense. And by the way, 800 North is a beautiful road out there. Drove it the other day.
So this is also a public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to speak to this one? Seeing no one?
Put this on action.
Item number 4, a public hearing again to consider annexing 80.92 acres of land located approximately 800 north, 4500 west.
Good evening, Rick Holman. I'm representing the Francisco Lunt family on this proposed annexation. As was mentioned by the mayor, it's 80 acres. It's within the annexation declaration area. There's a dedicated 4500 west at the southeast corner of the property. And on the east side to the properties, or excuse me, on the west side, properties along the south, there's a 33-foot wide right-of-way on the property leading up to this parcel. And so we believe the access will be addressed. In the general plan, the general land use plan, it suggests that about 40% of this be used as business and light manufacturing, and the other 60% be used as heavy industrial. We're not here to talk about zone changes. We're just here to talk about annexing. The family traded this property for developers of Buena Vista a few years before the Buena Vista subdivision was developed. And now the family would like to get it into the city so that they could possibly sell it.
Is this part of the area that was recently added into that inland port? It didn't come this far east, I don't think.
No,
right? Didn't think so, but.
no. That, Buena Vista's been there quite a number of years.
Since the early 90s.
Yeah.
94, I believe, is when that Buena Vista subdivision that is adjacent to is when it was approved.
Yeah. 4500 is a good access road for that. I mean, when you have that railroad spur in there, you're gonna be looking at things that, like this, that are gonna wanna develop along the railroad. I mean, that's just part of the fact. I know there's quite a bit of concern, and I read all the minutes from the planning commission meeting. And I understand a lot of the concerns from the neighbors with noise and light pollution and things. But you're gonna have a difficult time having a lot of residential develop in that area by a railroad spur. It's not gonna happen.
Well, and the general plan also suggests that north of this parcel, there would be high-density residential. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's up to the property owners when
Sure.
they decide to develop that.
Can you show us this on the master plan, Kent, kind of where we're at?
Let's see, I'm lost, sorry.
There you go.
Right there, yep.
It's this piece right
So that's the 80
you're found
acres, that
again.
rectangle just below the arrow.
No, that's not it, Ken.
I was gonna say it's the piece that has two shades of purple.
That's correct.
Cutting it kind of diagonally in half.
So everything within, what is that, about a quarter mile of the railroad is the heavy industrial INM2 general plan, and then light industrial farther, is that?
I think a lot of that, even to the west, is INM1.
Will you zoom out just a little bit there, Kent? There we go.
So this is
So
the general
That's
plan.
the general plan, and then if Kent wants to
That's
bring
the
up
plastic.
the zoning.
So it's out
You're not
there.
quite to the.
That's
Well, they're
the-
building a gas station right around the corner.
The-
I mean, right now, it's currently a peninsula.
INM1.
We don't really love peninsulas, right? It's a
Actually, it's
peninsula.
an island. This is part of an island that,
Well, it's a peninsula off of the island, yeah, of the
Yeah.
county property.
yeah.
So it would square up, it'd
Oh, this is
rectangle
all
up the,
county.
yeah.
Yeah, it is,
And it's probably gonna stay that way for a while.
until they change the road.
Yeah.
Probably never.
As part of this process, we've been in contact with the Water Division, the Sewer Division, Police and Fire, and they all acknowledge that services can be provided to this location.
So I guess the access would come off of, is there a road, there's not already a road right there, right? Off of Highway 56?
No, that's a
No.
dedicated 4500 West. The property where the arrow is
Okay.
SUU's, and that was part of the agreement in selling them the property, is that 4500 West would be dedicated. But again, between the two industries to the, along Highway 56, there is a 33-foot road right-of-way on the west side of the property line, a little back forward this way. Nope,
Other way.
to the east.
One
A
more.
little bit more, one more.
Keep going.
Yep. now
Right
down-
there, boundary
Down
line.
there, so there's a 33-foot wide easement on the west property, and we would, or the future buyer would have to negotiate making that an accessible and acceptable road width to go across there. But as all of you know, getting multiple crossings across the railroad is like
Yeah.
Very difficult.
trading your mother-in-law.
Well, it's a very long process as well.
So just a land use note, a couple of years ago, the legislature forced all the cities in Class 1 counties to annex all the islands within the city. And there's a push on currently, we had a meeting with the League of Cities and Towns this morning to force the rest of us who are not in Class 1 counties to annex islands within the city.
Oh,
And does that come with the fiscal note of doubling our tax rate?
Nope, that comes with just a
Do it or we'll
figure it out.
cut your C and D road.
a mandate from the state.
Okay,
Any questions I can answer?
I'm sure there's,
This is a public hearing also, so we'll open the public hearing here. Thank you, sir. Please come up. State your name.
My name is Laird Campbell. We live in Buena Vista. Just for the record, we are not opposed to the annexation, but we want to maintain our quality of life. And at the last meeting, Jennifer Davis said she was going to recommend that it be annexed with conditions. And so we want to present the conditions that we would like to see to try and help us. So, pull this down so I can step back. That's what happens when you get old. We would like to see number one, we want to make sure that there are going to be no vehicles going through Buena Vista ever to access any of that property. We have a lot of cats, dogs, horses, cows, children, and we don't want them to have to worry about being hit by commercial vehicles. So we would just like that on the record, that we don't want commercial vehicles of any kind going through there. We don't want access to that property in any way, shape, or form through Buena Vista. We would like to also require that whoever buys the property, with WL Plastics going in, we found some major issues. The noise and the light is intolerable. For those of us who like to sleep with our windows open, we have to have white noise because we can't do it with them here. So we would like to see a wall, a 10-foot wall block built between the road and the subdivision at their expense to try and curb the light and the noise. We would like to have a 1,500-foot buffer zone between the subdivision and anything that gets built out there to also alleviate some of the noise that might be associated with it. And those are the main issues that we've got. I just had somebody text me and ask to make sure there is no way that anybody in that property is going to ever drop anything into the ground that's going to contaminate our water, is there? It's not possible for them to, I mean, the city's going to make sure that anything in there is going to go into the city system, right?
Yes. If it comes into the city, they will have to meet city standards, right?
So those are the main things that we see right now. We want to push some zoning issues, but that's at a different time and a different place.
going with his question, Kent, will you zoom up to the north just a little tiny bit? I guess the reason I even bring that up is because one of those things that you brought up as far as the traffic, right now, I don't see a way a person could access that. But if somehow the person who owns this or develops this partners with the person to the north, so I'm saying they might not be able to access it right now, but if they somehow partner with the person to the north, then I don't know what to do
Yes, but we
there.
don't want direct access from us into them. I know there's supposed to be a road going down on the backside, which is another argument for a different date.
Okay, as long as you guys,
But right now, we don't want them going through our subdivision.
Well, you'd have to tear out a house to get access, wouldn't you? There is no.
Well, the road actually curves around and goes down into Chet and Laney Smith's place up there, and you could get across going through their place, but
Is this 800?
just as long as that's on the record and we're good with it, we're good.
Yeah, that's about 800 north. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you.
Please, sir.
Thank you for everyone's time. I'll be brief, just build off of what Laird Campbell had
please
mentioned.
tell us your name,
Oh, yeah.
sir.
My name is Logan Sysom. First and foremost, we want to make this as easy as possible and limited pain as possible. Francisco's are wonderful. We want to make sure that they're able to sell their property and move on. The biggest thing is that we just want to be able to express that it is an annexation, but there's also more that our community of Buena Vista is facing. And it's important for the Cedar City Council to hear that and to know that, we're already dealing with some struggles as it pertains to the plastics company that exists there. We've tried to communicate with them about pointing their lights down, maybe turning some of the noises off at night. And again, that's zoning, but they are listed as light industrial. And this annexation is part light industrial and heavy industrial. And so we're already having issues with the light industrial. So in the future, please consider the zoning in that regard, potentially changing the zoning in the future. Again, we do not disagree with the annexation. We want to support it so they can get their property sold and move forward. We're just trying to meet our obligations to the planning committee when they requested that we provide those few conditions, and we really hope that those conditions will be considered and hopefully implemented or put into some sort of legalese that pertains to the new owner of the property. Having said that, thank you for hearing us, and please do what you can to help us maintain our way of life out in Buena Vista. Thank you.
Thank you, Logan.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to jump in here? Council? Close the public hearing.
I have a question about procedure. We can't tie conditions to annexation, right? That comes with development or zoning or,
We can and we have. If you think of the whole Cordero project, that was done through annexation.
oh, but that was a master plan community though, correct? Kind of.
So
That was-
think of it like a huge development agreement.
Yeah.
Sign the development agreement, we'll annex you. Don't sign the development agreement, we won't annex you.
But would this be the proper time? I mean, because I know that what I mean by that is the annexation has multiple steps. This is the very first one, correct? So there's still a protest period after this and a few other things, is there not? Or is
This is near the end.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're getting to the.
So it's
okay.
either, if you want to do it as part of the annexation, now is the time. If you're okay with doing it when they bring in zone changes, you can do it then as well.
Do we know if there's a plan for a zone change?
Well, they'll have to be. It'll come in, this is coming in as annex transition.
Well, it'll
as it
come in
currently
as
is.
annex.
Oh, yeah, of course. I guess that's true.
They won't be able to do anything beyond a farmhouse.
And if we deny annexation, they can just simply build in the county without any restriction, correct?
Well, I mean, the restrictions the county gives.
Right.
So it's either us making the decision or the county making the decision.
Right.
It's the same concept.
And the state might take away your choice in 6 months anyway, so.
Yeah.
Well, and WL Plastics is in the county as well, right?
No?
No,
Is it in the county? Okay, okay. That's what made the island.
So that becomes your question. Would you rather have the city have the authority to make this decision or the county?
Does staff have any thoughts on, and you might have just heard them for the very first time, does staff have any thoughts on any of the recommendations or requests, I should say, that the neighbors had?
I guess I would mention just a couple of things. At this point where there are no development proposals in for the property to the north of them, we don't know yet what all that street network is going to look like. So to be able to say that there's no way a vehicle would be able to go through Buena Vista to get to that property, we can't say that. There are 3 public roadways that are stubbed to the north from Buena Vista that will connect to something. So therefore, there is that possibility that traffic could get around there. In terms of, of some of the other things that were mentioned, a lot of those were mentioned to the Planning Commission as well. Planning Commission included in their in their motion that they wanted to see, I don't remember the exact wording, but it is, they were sensitive to having some type of buffering for this property. It was part of that. But the roadway itself would be, the 4500 West roadway. That alignment goes immediately west of Buena Vista. So any, I guess there could be something on the east side of that road, but anything else that might be there is going to be away from Buena Vista's line a little ways in order to even get to where they could build any other kind of buffering. I don't know how effective that will be with that kind of separation, but that is that was considered by the Planning Commission and was part of their recommendation, their positive recommendation.
Our ordinance as it reads, what does it say as far as when you abut light manufacturing to residential of any kind? What is the wall requirement currently? I'm assuming we have one.
I don't believe it's 10 feet.
I don't think it's 10 feet. I haven't heard
I
any.
think our maximum height on our walls
It's
is 8
six.
feet.
So it's probably an 8-foot wall that's already required. But that would be required on their side of the street probably, not on the east side of the street. It would happen on the west side of the street, I would imagine.
Part of your problem is when it refers to abutting, we usually say a street stops the abutting.
Correct, that's what I'm saying.
sense.
So
So, yeah.
that's why, yeah, it would end on the other side of the street, not up against.
Right. And for a lot of these, it ends up being just a 6-foot tall one. That's why Mr. Schmidt, when he came through for the other side, for Amber Industrial, when they annexed in, that was part of the agreement that they came in with later, was to make sure they could do an 8-foot, make sure it didn't have to be set back 10 feet from the roadway. Those were done by a later development agreement, not as a requirement as part of the annexation. And that's, some of that again is I think we knew a little bit more with Mr. Schmidt's what was likely coming in. At this point, I don't know if you know yet.
We don't know, but I will mention that on the north side of this parcel is where the city master planned 800 North would run, north of Buena Vista. And that is the corner where any development on this property would access the sewer. So in terms of the question about putting anything in the ground, we talked with the sewer folks, and they told us where this would most likely have to hook on, and that would be the corner of 4500 West and 800
North.
And so going through Buena Vista is not, well, that's up to the owner, but we're providing them future access on the north, access on the south, and access on the west.
Yeah.
And possible access on the north side of Union Pacific, because that would be an extension of
Port 15?
Port 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else, did you want to speak? Thank you.
Again, my name is Logan Sysom. I live in Buena Vista. I love that Rick is so informed. It's wonderful. I really think that we're pretty much on the same page here. There's a lot of consensus from Buena Vista about just having the city annex it with conditions or contingencies, whatever those are, whatever is able to be done, and let's just move forward. The Franciscos have put a lot of time into this, and we want to move forward, and our voice has been heard, and hopefully our way of life will be protected. So really, we're on the same page with you. Let's just not deal with the county. Let's just work it with the city and move forward.
Well, I think I might suggest too, Rick, that Mr. Holman, that you get with Mr. Schmidt and find out, because he had very good conversations with those neighbors and we came to a good agreement. And I think there's a similar thing we can probably find here on this side as well, I think.
Thank you.
Mayor, I
We'll
suggest we put this on
Put
action.
that on action. Thank you. And item number 5, consider an ordinance amending the city's personnel policy.
Natasha Hershey with Human Resources. So I just have a few policy changes tonight.
Just a few.
So we're starting with Chapter 4, just a couple of new positions that we are adding to our exempt jobs. We have the new collection superintendent where we split up wastewater, and then we added the new accountant in the budget this year that we will be starting the first part of October. So those two changes. In Chapter 7, We got a new time clock system, as you're all aware. We came and talked to you about that, a new payroll system, and have been requiring employees to clock in and out.
Is that going any better?
It is going better in some ways, but some of the things that we can't make work are like when our guys get called out in the middle of the night, or all the different shift differentials, or all the different policies we brought to you to approve over the years. Some of those things are just really challenging. The system can't seem to make them work. It works great for those that are just on normal schedules. It works for the aquatic center, the folks clocking in and out, just, without doing anything unique as far as like callbacks or FTO pay or all the random little things that we do here in the city. So we're proposing that employees are not required to clock in and out. Now they can if they choose to, but they will be able to go in and edit that. So they get called back in the middle of the night. They don't need to clock in and out because it's considered callback time. They can go in and enter their time and make the adjustment.
About a month ago, Natasha grabbed a couple guys from water, a couple guys from the police department, where else? A couple guys from engineering, and had iSolve modify their permissions so that they could basically fill in their timesheet without clocking in. They can go back and edit things. And these are guys that tend to have these more elaborate codes, callback time, all the shift differentials over the police department. The feedback we got from the test group was they really liked the ability to do that. It was easier for them. It was easier for their supervisors. Their timesheets were still accurate, so we're asking to let us expand that to all the full-time employees. Chances are the part-time guys will still clock in and out. Full-time guys will migrate more towards this system where they can modify their timesheets. You can do it every day, you can do it every couple days, every week. It's just a lot more flexible.
I would assume the system we use does make a note if it's something that the employee edited, if there isn't a concern.
It keeps a record of who edits what. Once the employee edits it, they submit it, their supervisor's got to go through it. They review it to make sure that it's got what it needs to have in it. They got to sign off on it. The system keeps a record of who's signing off on what.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think it'll still, I had one of the police officers says this takes the best of our old system and the best of the new system and kind of combines it. So, and I got cheers when I said I was bringing this to council tonight to no longer require and clock in and out from our public works folks in training this morning. So I think it will be received well if that's something we want to make that change. Any other questions on that system?
I would just note there's a number of our full-time staff members who don't have shift differentials, who don't have all these callback time things, that clocking in works just fine, and they don't have a problem with it. So they might choose to stay clocking in. That's fine too.
I had one of the employees this morning that looked concerned about it. And when I said, you can still clock in and out if you want, and he was shaking his head, yeah, so that works for him. So it does work for some people. It seems like the more complicated tasks, the system can't quite figure out. And that's where, so we've shifted the responsibility from employees to supervisors, and we have supervisors spending a lot of time going in and making these corrections, which wasn't what we wanted. We were trying to simplify things, not make it more complicated.
That would be my question, and I was just wondering if supervisors going in and editing, having to approve the editing and look at it as the supervisor, is that taking more of their time than otherwise?
It's taking their time more right the way it is now, because if somebody forgets to clock in and out, the supervisor's the only one that can fix that. So anything, if it's a callback issue or an FTO shift that didn't get recorded correctly, the supervisors are spending quite a significant amount of time correcting these, especially in our police department. And so you have all your supervisors, instead of making life easier, we've made it harder. So I think we want to give that back to the employees, and the supervisors still have control, right? They can still see it, like Paul's mentioned, they can still see who's editing it, see if there's a problem, we can still look at it. It just kind of makes it a little bit easier, I think, and
So is it required for the supervisors to approve the time for their still, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, we didn't remove that. They'll still, we still left language in the policy that says that, you're still responsible for what's on that timesheet. The employees sign that they verify that it's true and correct, and the supervisor does too. So there's still a second set of eyes on it.
So, and then what's kind of the fail-safe if you have somebody who edits something kind of at the last moment before payroll's due or whatever, and the supervisor doesn't have a chance to get to it before payroll? I mean, is that ever gonna be an issue where you're worried about it's gonna get missed on this paycheck? I mean, then do they have to catch up? Or if a supervisor doesn't get to it, are there other people that can do it besides just their immediate supervisor?
So payroll looks at the timesheets, but we're trusting that the employees and the supervisors, now everybody has a backup. So if a department heads out of town or something, they have another employee in their department that can also look at their timesheets. So we do have backups for those situations. We do require that they're approved to get paid. I mean, Kathy will be sending out emails saying, hey, get your timesheets verified. I'm trying to process payroll. So we do want a second set of eyes on there. If something was missed, we can always make a correction. If they caught something after the fact, if there was an error.
Yeah, you just make the correction in the following
Yeah,
paycheck.
we would.
The
we would
data's
just make
still
an
there, and you
adjustment.
can see
Yeah.
trends or outliers or whatever and go back and look at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand. I manage a company of 35 employees, and we have this exact same system, and I'm the one responsible to approve all those edits. And so we're the way where you clock in and out, and then if you want to edit it, then we have to approve the edit. But so I guess we'll just see how it goes.
Like I said, that we have had the test group that's working, and they have really liked it. Some still are clocking in and out. They prefer that. But if they forget to clock in and out, they like that they can go in and adjust their time to say what time they got there. And a lot of us are where you're seen, so people know when people are coming and going. There's checks and balances in place. We haven't had issues. We didn't switch to the system to clock in and out because we had issues with employees not recording their time accurately. We switched to the system hoping to make it easier on payroll, and that doesn't. What we found is it is complicated life for supervisors and made it more difficult, and that wasn't what we were aiming for. So I think this will be a good fix. Any other questions?
None of
The
that.
next one.
Okay, so chapter 8, we're just changing the language in the recreational passes. The proposed change will clarify who is eligible for the pass. Just says that they're URS eligible, so they're a retiring employee, and that they need to be in good standing when they leave. So it's not just, you can't just work here for 10 years and say I'm retiring and I want this golf pass. You have to be URS eligible and in good standing before you're eligible for that 5-year
Natasha, how did
pass.
we arrive at the 10 years?
Long before me. I don't know. That was before I was here that they made that. But I think the goal was, at least if I recall, it was an unlimited pass.
So you gotta realize that if you wind the clock back far enough, we did post-retirement health insurance for all of our full-time employees forever.
Very generous.
And we did these retirement or these rec passes. I don't think we had a time limit on them. And we've been trying to kind of walk some of those back a little bit as we look at the unfunded liabilities that our auditors keep pointing out to us. And that's what led to getting rid of those post-retirement health benefits. And that's what's leading to curtail some of these benefits. So the 10 years, I don't think is a magic number, but when you cast it in light of what we used to do, it's a kind of a big step back.
Have the auditors looked at what the lost revenue, I guess, so to speak, is on this? Is that what their concern?
No, they were more looking at it the other way, is they assume that, like auditors do, that everybody's gonna take advantage of it all the time, and it's gonna cost you a bundle.
Correct.
Well, I suppose that would
Yeah.
be the lost revenue component.
Right. And do we know how well it's being utilized by staff?
Do we have an actual?
Yeah, do we
I don't think we
have any
do.
idea if it's?
I think the aquatic center tracks how many people are using the aquatic center, because if you're an employee, you actually have to get a pass up there that they use, so they would have an idea of that But I don't know that we've done that at the golf course.
Is it just for the employee? It's not for the employee
Or
and their
families
families?
too.
So when they retire, it's just the employee.
Yeah.
So for 5 years after retirement, it's just the employee. But while we're working, it's for our spouse, our insurance eligible dependents is the way we kind of did it. So it's if you're 26 and under or on the insurance or eligible for the city's insurance, you would be eligible for these passes.
I guess my last question on this, for me at least, is do we know the average years of service for someone that is URS eligible?
So you have, well,
I
you
mean,
have
is it
to.
17 years? Is it 16 years? Is it, what is our average that people,
Well, you have to be a certain age, so you have to be,
Yeah.
if I recall, and there's some new requirements with Tier 2, but you have to be at least 60, I think in 10 years, 62 in 4 years. I'm probably messing this all up, but
I guess what I'm getting to, and I'm probably the Grinch here, I think we're being very generous with 10 years.
So the pass isn't good for 10 years.
No.
You're saying
You're not
working for us.
eligible, I mean, I think you should not be eligible for, until you're in service for 15 years to this.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know how other councilmen, I mean, I just think it's very generous.
Oh, you're saying 10 years, after 10 years, when you retire, you receive a 5-year pass to
Yeah.
golf or
Yeah.
aquatics.
Well, yeah, what this is saying is in order to get the 5 years, you had to have worked for at least 10 years. What Councilman Phillips is saying, in order to get the 5 years, you had to have worked
Maybe
at
you
least
should work
15 years.
15.
Well, and I'm gonna just try to guess what past councils decided, right? This was last edited in, well, it looks like,
that number hasn't
2016
always
or
been
so.
there. I think that came about in 2006 is from what I can kind of see. That is when that change went into place.
and I, part of me wonders if maybe, because it really doesn't cost us much to offer.
No, and
a 5-year
that's why I wonder
benefit.
how many people are
And-
utilizing.
And I wonder if that's why the period is a little shorter, so we could have incentivized, especially in police. I know, it's hard to train people, right? And it's a lot easier to get lateral hires from other departments. And maybe that was one of the factors. I don't know how often
Well, I'm
police
certainly,
officers golf.
this is not something I'm willing to, die on the vine on this. I was just wondering, it just seemed very generous.
I don't, to be honest, I don't know how that discussion went. I wasn't part of that discussion, but if I kind of recall when that time or change was made, it was 2006. I can do some research for you now, but I don't know the discussion that went behind the
Okay.
10-year.
Thank you.
I guess also maybe going along with what Councilman Melling was saying, is there maybe something to be warranted to, in our public safety, if you do come over from another organization, could we be using this as let's say you've got 8 years left or, 10 years left. Could we use this possibly as a recruitment tool to say, we'll count your years?
Right.
If you in public safety at another municipality or another location, we'll count that towards your 10 or your 15 or whatever number we land on. So I don't know. I don't know if that's even worth having that discussion or if it warrants, but
I know giving these passes is a recruitment tool. I spoke with a police officer this morning on the phone, and that was one of the questions he asked. My wife is curious, do we get to use your rec center? And I said, yeah, you get these passes. And he was like, oh, that's great. That's something. So it is important. People do look at things like that.
Enough said.
I would just be a little bit thinking that after you retired, unless you're a golfer, and maybe you're a morning swimmer,
you're not going to use it a ton.
not much.
And it's just you. It's not even your whole family. It's just you at that point.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many, but I would doubt that it was a lot.
So they go on standby if there's, like in golf, if there's not room? I mean, is it
oh
like?
no, they still have to make a.
So let's make
Have to make a
time.
reservation at
Yeah.
tea time, okay.
They don't get any special privileges. They still have to, and they
Just
still
the-
have to pay for their cart and things
Well,
like that. So.
and the other side of things is, if you look at it from a business standpoint, why do you give a coupon? Because you expect a person's going to.
I think it's good, let's move on.
Are you interrupting me?
I am.
You did.
All right, let's move on.
He's telling you to
that
be
on
quiet.
action.
Move on.
What I'm trying to say is, I think having somebody who gets to golf for free, when's the last time you
got some
golfed by
more.
yourself? It actually will bring business, because they're going to invite other people to come golf with them that will be paying customers. Councilman
Okay,
Phillips.
move on.
Okay.
We have
next
big
session-
issues to go over.
The next section to change is the employee appreciation. Those amounts are just kind of outdated. We had $25 gift cards. We're just increasing that to $150. Part of the reason for the $150 amount is we've allotted for each employee, for each department, $150 for employee appreciation. Now, it doesn't have to be all spent, or it doesn't have to be spent on one, but that's the budget and kind of the,
That's
where that
inflation.
comes from. So.
How much, if this is old enough?
Then we have the flowers, it's up to $200.
Yeah,
if-
try and get a floral
if you had
arrangement for $50.
Yeah, so we decided we'd try to fix those amounts and make them more in line with
Current.
today. And then the last one is the retirement gift, is we increased that from $750 to $1,000. Any questions on those amounts?
Does that one have a, 20 or more? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, we did put 20 or more years of service to receive that retirement. People that are just leaving or things like that, we do small little like going away parties, but nothing major.
Thank you. I suggest we put this on action for next week's meeting.
Okay. Are you good with all of them?
I am good.
Was that the last one?
Sorry I brought it up.
Sorry.
There's more.
There's,
But wait, there's more.
Oh, I know.
sorry, but the next ones aren't as nearly as exciting. So
Oh.
we're going to talk, chapter 9 is our
Oh, yeah,
disciplinary process. We're just allowing, the state allows for 2 days of suspension without going through a big predetermination hearing and having due process. We'd like to add that into our policy if needed. And then we're just kind of defining who forms go to, who's, it's just including the city attorney and HR in those discussions, so nothing real major there, just some minor changes. Chapter 10 is the appeals. The proposed change adds demotions and suspensions into the appeal process and defines the mayor and the 5 of you as the appeals board. We've always kind of assumed that, but it's just spelling that out, that you guys would be the appeals board if somebody had an issue.
So the appeals process kind of works like this. Your boss disciplines you, you don't agree, you have an appeal to the city manager. Well, let me back up. Only the department heads can do the disciplinary action. So the appeal from the department head's decision would come to me. If they still don't like what I tell them, they come to you guys.
In a public meeting?
No, it would be a closed session to discuss character,
Okay.
competence, and fitness of an employee. Your vote most likely is going to be a public vote. If they don't like what you tell them, they're going to sue us anyway.
Fortunately, we don't have a lot of these situations, so,
I think I've had 2
yeah.
in 20 years.
So, but we just wanted to make that clear,
Clear.
because people ask that from time to time, so it's clear. Then the last change is chapter 16, it's section 16.1.2. The proposed change allows department heads to authorize occasional use of a take-home vehicle associated with out-of-town travel. Right now, the department heads or other employees aren't allowed to take a vehicle home unless they're on our approved list. Sometimes an employee might have to leave to go up north at 5 in the morning, and they'd like to take that vehicle home. We just would like to add that in policy, so if the department has a situation like that, they can authorize for the employee to take it home on occasional.
So your current policy on take-home vehicles is geared around folks that need to take home a vehicle because they are going to have to respond to something off hours, whether it's a fellas in the parks and we have a water leak, they got to come and shut down the water. Fellas in the water department, kind of same thing, just bigger scope. Sewer department, name your department. Public safety is all included in there as well, but they're likely to have to respond to
Yeah.
emergency situations. This would expand that a little bit for out-of-town travel, so like Natasha said, if you're leaving way early in the morning, you don't have to come in here, drop your car off, pick up the city car and go. And likewise, if you're getting home at midnight, you can just go home, go to bed, and bring the car back in the morning.
Any questions there?
No, ma'am.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. It'll be on action. Item number 6, consider items to declare as surplus property. Mr. Childs?
Most exciting thing on the agenda.
Yep, it's auction time again. Corey Childs, fleet manager. I do need to add a couple more items to our list verbally that have just been brought to my attention. We have a 2003 Chevy pickup, a 2009 Chevy pickup, both with over 240,000 miles on them. And then we'd also like to try to sell some of our old police equipment again. In the past, we've got virtually nothing for it. But we want to try it again and see. There's some movie companies that like to buy that kind of stuff, and so maybe we could get some money out of it that way.
Do you just do yours through a website, or do you sell it all to one and then to a company and then they go and surplus it, or how do we do it?
We put it all on publicsurplus.com.
what
I
I
take
thought.
the pictures, they come and get it from us.
That's what I thought.
The buyer does.
Yeah.
My question is, what happens with the funds that are collected, however small? Do they go back to the general fund? Do they go back to the departments? Where does the money go?
It depends on where it came from. If it came from general fund, it goes back to general fund, the purchase of that item.
Enterprise funds go back to the enterprise
Yeah,
fund. from
that's
which
what
they
I
came.
thought. I just.
So police and fire obviously go, okay.
You don't- So those don't go back to the departments for spending. They go back to their funds, and you can
Yeah.
allocate them later.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't think we're talking about much money overall, but.
No,
No, we
no.
aren't.
Our 300-gallon garbage bins, those are like just our standard garbage cans. Is that what that
No.
is?
The standard one that says your home is a 90-gallon. The
Oh.
300-gallon are much, much bigger.
They're the great big rounds you see on Main Street.
For
We
the
used to have a
July
lot of them
Jamboree.
Oh,
at
okay.
stuff. At Diamond Z, there used to be a bunch of them there, but
Yeah.
Okay.
we've got rid of all of those now.
Oh, really?
We're not using those anymore.
You're just using more than 90 gallons?
We just use more than 90 gallons, yeah.
Okay. Well, they're much more manageable.
They are, and we don't have to switch arms on the truck every time you go to pick up a different can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the grabber would have to be different.
Yep.
Okay.
Can we put this on consent?
Yeah, we can. Why not?
Sure.
There it is.
Praise the Lord.
Item number 7, consider 2 new clarifiers at the wastewater treatment plant.
Hi.
Jumping right into your new position, huh? There you go. There
Jeff
you go.
Leonard, wastewater superintendent. The agenda says we're discussing 2 new clarifiers, but we're actually discussing the rebuild of 2 30-year-old clarifiers.
Correct.
Oh.
We've already put in the budget, or you've already approved in the budget, the money to rebuild 2 clarifiers this year and 2 clarifiers next year.
Oh, I was excited. I was hoping you get new ones.
Oh, well,
They are
will
new.
be new.
They're just
Like-
replacing.
So they're
We're just putting
replacing the
stainless in.
gearboxes,
Yep.
the motors, and all of the rotating equipment. The catwalk and the concrete structure will remain the same. We've gone with the original equipment manufacturer, so basically, they'll pull the old one out and put the new one in.
Plug and play, super simple.
Oh, it's gonna be easy.
And so if we already budgeted it, why do we have to?
Because they're spending
Because the
over,
amount of the
Oh,
contract is
okay.
so high that it needs to come back before.
anything over 50,000 has to go back. So looks like you're under budget, though. Sweet.
I think
Should
this-
be.
I think this is great. I was out there and saw what you were dealing with, and I'm excited about this. So can we put this on consent?
Yes.
Let's put it on consent,
Thank
gentlemen.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Order
you.
number 8, consider proposals for the design of the Kitty Hawk and Bulldog Road traffic signal.
So on this item, we did put out a request for proposals. We received 4 proposals from engineering firms to do this design work. As we evaluated those proposals and, scored those, we came up with our recommendation to award it to Kimley Horn. They were not the lowest cost nor the highest cost, but we felt like their proposal provided the best overall value to us to get this project done successfully. So we're making that recommendation for Kimley Horn to be awarded the contract.
And I would be a little concerned with the one out of Washington, just because it's not even in the same realm as the rest, right? And that's kind of a red flag, is that?
Washington State.
Well, and I guess I'm glad to see that their scoring was also the lowest there, too. So it's,
Yeah.
because otherwise it'd be harder to pass up on the cheap price.
I will say that that particular office of Transpo Group, I have worked with in the past. They did work for me at my previous city, did a good job for me. They did not present a very good proposal that showed they understood what exactly we were looking for on this project.
And again, I guess as far as using local, does well, it's not even within 5% either way, so. Well,
There's nothing local on there anyway.
well, St. George doesn't count, I guess, either.
So
Yeah,
this is
city
ju-
and then county, so it doesn't take
Okay.
the outside.
So this
doesn't
is
matter.
just doing the design work, or what is this
Yeah.
included?
Yeah, this is the design work for that, traffic signal project. And then we would take that design and put out a bid for the construction.
And then it'll come back to us to have a chance to look at what that design is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, say you want to look at the design?
Well, I'm just so concerned.
We can
There's-
certainly do that.
There's so much
Yeah.
happening there.
Yeah,
you
we
know,
we
with
can
the-
certainly.
With the bridge and the bulldog and the animal adoption, there's just a lot going on right there.
I would agree. And we can certainly bring that back for a work session discussion before we finalize it.
That's great.
I think that's wise. There's just too many actions there
Yep.
that are going to be affected by traffic light
Yeah,
that are not being affected now.
yeah, exactly.
You wanna put that
I
on?
guess my only other concern, maybe I missed it if this was something that had already been brought up. I know with Industrial Road, we had some assistance and consulting, and then UDOT came back and said it wasn't an approved vendor. Are we going to have any kind of issue like that with this project?
We will not, because this is not a UDOT-funded project. We're funding this locally.
Okay, so
No
there will,
federal money in it. so.
Yeah. We'll
was
have
that the
some-
nexus with UDOT and Industrial Road was the federal money?
It was feds attached.
We got the grant from Congress on Industrial Road, and the only mechanism they had to get that money to us was running it through UDOT.
Okay.
So that's
And-
where all their strings kicked in.
So why was, and I could just be forgetting something, but UDOT was involved in the preliminary discussions on that roundabout. Why were they involved there? Was that just because of the overpass?
Which one?
When we were going to do an overpass or a
So
roundabout?
UDOT on the overpass rebuild, they paid for the bridge deck. We paid for the ramps going up, but it was all UDOT's design. And when they designed that, they had proposed the roundabout there as part of their design. That's how they were drawn into the roundabout conversation.
I see, but because this doesn't affect the bridge, then that's why UDOT's not involved.
Yeah, they don't care.
Okay.
Oh, see, I guess I was under the understanding that this was a UDOT project, but it's not. So that intersection is all ours.
Those are purely local streets.
Oh,
Soon as you get
UDOT's
over that
only
bridge,
interest
it's
was the
all
bridge deck.
okay.
Is the only consideration traffic light? Are you considering roundabout?
At this point, after the engaged process that was already happened, to change that from a roundabout in the design to not a roundabout, that wasn't really on the table as I understood it, to go back to the roundabout.
You had the city received significant negative feedback from the people who use
Drive
that road the most, especially the heavy truck haulers. One, and then two, my recollection is if they were to install the roundabout, it would have changed the geometry of what comes off of the bridge deck, which would make it a way more expensive project to now go back and redo that ramp going up onto the bridge deck. So it's up to you guys, but there's some there'd be some significant hurdles to overcome if we wanted to go back to the roundabout discussion.
So the only, I will just mention one thing, where UDOT will have some very minor involvement with us on this project is just that we will tie from the controller for this new traffic signal, we will create a connection into UDOT's fiber system that runs up Airport Road to their office, so that that will allow our signal maintenance consultant, signal maintenance and operations consultant that we use, Pine Top Engineering, to be able to access our signal through UDOT's system, so that they can then, update timing or anything that needs to be done remotely using UDOT's system. We're set up that way now for the Kitty Hawk and Airport Road signal. That is also 100% ours. UDOT doesn't have any direct involvement in that. But the UDOT system is very helpful to us. So we will be making that connection. We'll have some coordination with UDOT on that, but otherwise they won't be involved.
My assumption is that in this design process, there'll be some look at the roads of Kitty Hawk and where we need curb gutter and sidewalk on the north side where we currently don't have it, or is that, I don't mean all the way down, but at the intersection portion of this?
Yeah, at the intersection, if, as part of the design, there's curb gutter and sidewalk that's there now to some extent. Yes, the design will consider whether that needs to be extended to accommodate what we're doing.
Thank you.
Will we still look at the free right turn coming on the northbound leg of Bulldog?
I hope.
That was something that was promised during that whole
Yeah.
discussion with the roundabout, was the county would give us, I don't know if the county gives us anything, enough right-of-way there behind our
Yeah.
artistic display to have a free right turn headed that way.
That is part of what will be considered in the design process, the pros and cons of that. There are significant cons to that. But yeah, that is part of what will be considered in the design.
Great.
This has been discussed a lot, and lots of proposals were out there. I think we've trained the public already to turn right. They're not trying to go up over the hill with the big trucks, and I don't see anybody trying to go left. And all we do is, with putting a traffic light in, is there, we make all those big trucks come to a complete stop and make them all start all over again, even going to the right. And they're not gonna go over the hill anyway. There's no big truck that's loaded that's gonna try and make that climb. It'll take them an hour to get to third gear. So I think the question really should be light versus nothing by the council. Do nothing? Is anybody in
Well-
favor of considering doing nothing?
Let's, I don't know, but I would say let's
That's a big discussion
explore
for
it.
another day.
Let's explore it and see what they bring back to us.
Well,
And if we don't
They're
like
going
it,
to design, they're moving forward to a traffic light.
yeah.
I guess what the mayor is saying is if we want nothing, if the consensus right now is nothing, don't even spend the 40-something thousand dollars.
No, I think the other critical
Right, Mayor, that's
thing,
what you're getting
we're
at.
having, I mean, my understanding is we're in some more discussions on 800 West and connecting that to Coal Creek. I think a light is going to be critical if we ever make that connection. Because that's probably the biggest hurdle to some of that cross traffic. And as long as the light is timed properly, the default is going to be that light is green almost all the time. Except
Going east and west.
going east-west, except for, when someone's trying to turn.
It's just not gonna, it's not gonna compensate the public and the truckers anyway.
Right.
As
So-
long as we can still get
If
that.
they can go right, that's what they'll do. They'll go right and they'll come into
Well,
the
they're doing it.
other way. That's the way they do it. Or if they gotta go over that, they go right out of their shops. They go down and around and back and come back up through.
Yeah.
Some of the comments we've heard from the truckers there, one of the big problems they're having now, they are telling us, is when they're eastbound on Kitty Hawk and they want to make a left onto Bulldog, if there's anyone coming and they have to stop, they can't get started quickly enough when there's a gap before someone else pops over the hill. With the traffic signal, we'll be able to control those movements in a way that we can safely get everybody an opportunity to make their movements. I think that will be one advantage of having the traffic signal.
Any other conversation? Anybody have any more thoughts on this? Okay.
For now, no.
All right. I was asked that we put this on consent.
Yeah.
And that will by the consultancy fee. They'll do the design.
Yeah.
Thank you. Item number 9, public hearing to consider resolution revising fiscal year 2025, 2026 budget.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tonight, we have before you proposed budget changes, some budget revisions, and then also the project rollover list. They were included in your packet, but let's go through the budget adjustments quickly. So in the police, we have SWAT distributions for equipment. We have an expansion of the parking lot at the animal shelter. We have the rollover of the liquor enforcement budget from last year. That's an operating budget, so they wanted the same this year. We have state-funded overtime that we get reimbursed for. We have the funded system updates to the in-car cameras We have training costs that have been funded, and we have donations that we've received for in-house training.
How much bigger is the expansion on the parking lot of the animal shelter?
It pretty much doubled the size of the parking lot. You can, if you drive by, you can see where the new stuff is and the old stuff was.
Oh, they've already done it then?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it's, what was it, $8,000-ish?
Oh.
And it pretty
It
much
doesn't
doubled.
affect the detention pond there out in front.
No, it goes, the
Kinda goes
expansion
around it.
wraps around the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of down that one side.
So in economic development, we have an old grant that we're closing out and paying the final payment for, and we just need the accounting for that to be approved. We had some state funds that were given to us earlier that we have some left over that went back to fund balance. And we're pulling those out of fund balance, and then we'll receive another $7,500 from the state for the rest of the payment. Heritage Hall needs a new roof. And we're going to transfer money from the capital improvement reserve to do that.
So this is currently not funded in the budget, right?
No, so we started a sinking fund to renovate the theater portion of the building
Yep,
2 budget cycles ago.
right.
And I think when the first year came along, the folks from the Heritage Center came over and said, the roof's getting towards the end of its life, it's 20-plus years old. And the response back that they received was, we're gonna start the sinking fund, let's see if we can get a little further.
If you need the roof, come back to us.
If you need the roof, come back to us. Well, we've
came
had
back.
2 rainstorms this year, and we found more leaks this year than last year, and they're getting more troublesome. So Jason came back and said, we got more leaks. It's not getting any better, it's getting worse. Can we go ahead with the roof project? So that's why we're here asking for money out of that sinking fund to move ahead on the roof.
Okay.
We have transferred the budget from storm drain improvement at the airport recharge pond to detention pond west of Canyon View. So that's just transferring it to a different project. And then we're transferring budgets to fund the expansion at the Diamond Z Arena to finish that off. We have,
What was the amount of that?
it was 280,000.
Wow.
That's in addition to the funding that we'd put in there?
Yes.
But that was one that, didn't we kind of got there in a roundabout way, wasn't it? Didn't we take money from a project that we figured was never going to happen, move it to somewhere else, and then it ended up in this one? Isn't that how we got there?
We were gonna take some from the armburst.
That's how, yeah, isn't that how we somehow got there? Was ultimately the Armbruster project is where the 250 or the 280 came from. It went to a different one, and then that one gave to this one, and that's how we ended up here.
That's right. Yeah, Jonathan Stout, because that's right. It was going to be moved from the Armbrust Recreation Pond project. There were also some donations that have come in as well that are being added.
Thank you.
So,
okay.
Is this from the contractor and changes that's going to allow us to finish this complete like we had planned, or is this something else?
Yeah, this was to cover
Why
that
is there
final
more
room.
money needed?
yeah, this was to cover the full completion of the project. Yes, and that was the discussion when the bids were approved. that
There
this would-
was not enough money.
Yeah, if you remember,
wasn't-
Mayor, it had to do with the banquet room. We were going to have to frame, or we were going to plan on the banquet room, but we weren't going to finish it. And we said, if we're going to do it, let's just do it all right now.
Yeah.
And we had to come up with the extra. And then we got some donations. And
This is just formalizing what had been discussed when the
yeah, it's
bids
not
were
caused by any change orders.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Not yet.
Although
There will be some.
although
We
there
have
have
had a
been
few.
problems.
Yeah, we've had a few problems out there, but
Yeah.
I think those are behind us, and they're moving forward, so.
Phil Schmidt. We were called the other day out on Labor Day out to go to the livestock pavilion there at Diamond Z Arena. And they had placed a bunch of, they'd used on the water line from the ductile, then they came up and they took everything off with Schedule 40 water line pipe. And when we were there, there was 2 places that had broke, and there was prior to places that had broke before that. It's my understanding there's some other leaks there. I would that's going to all be under pavement later. I would strongly have you think about changing that from that white PVC Schedule 40, because they just used Schedule 40 on the fittings where they tied on, and that's a weak coupling. Quite a few of those are broke, and I'd really consider maybe changing that to a poly pipe and using compression fittings. And because you've had several breaks there already, and if we pave that and those break, then it's going to be really expensive. So
Digging up the pavement.
the pipe that you used, I really don't think is really not the best for that. And their fittings tying on to threaded fittings. Schedule 80 is better, but Schedule 40 is just weak. And I'd really consider maybe just fix it right now before we pave it and just change it to poly pipe with the compression fittings.
What size?
It's not really good. It's 2 inch.
What size is
Are you talking about the one that just runs
2 inch
west,
The
right?
one where we
Yeah.
fixed those, there's 2, and that had already been broke before.
Right.
And it's my understanding there's another one that's broke. And I almost guarantee you where that ties on to those 2-inch valves, it's going to split and break there too later. And it's not paved yet.
Can we look into that? Because I think you've
I
got a
think you
valid
should.
point.
I really think we should.
Yeah.
We
It's just the one that runs to the stalls, is that correct?
I'd change anything that's 2-inch PVC. I'd change it on. It's a Schedule 40, and that's a bad coupling for how it's being used.
And just at least to the edge of where the asphalt's gonna
I'd
be,
get out of the
correct?
asphalt,
Yeah.
use, because you can take that 2-inch poly with a compression fitting, and they're not going to break.
Right.
It'd be a lot safer.
And we're talking maybe 50 feet?
I don't know.
Or less?
I don't
mean, it's
know.
Yeah.
Everywhere where that white pipe goes, because that was a T right there, we fixed 3 places, and there was another one that had been broke before, and it's my understanding there's another one that's broke now. I would just change that, especially where it's under asphalt, because it's a weak.
So I think the one that was leaking was where the ductile came together and the pressure, I think, seeded the,
Yeah, but they just, that Schedule 40 thread on is not the best.
right.
If you're going to pay, if you weren't paving it, I don't care.
I agree.
But where we're paving it, maybe we could consider using a poly pipe with a compression fitting.
Can we look into that, Jonathan? Thank you. Sorry, Terry.
Just to comment on that, Phil, I think the pipe is probably superior. A male and a female adapter in 2-inch pipe male has a weakness where it decks down and the female splits. It's just saying. So there are other ways in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with the pipe. Problem is the fitting. That didn't sound right. That was plumber's talk, not city council talk.
That's the whole thing, and I'd change those.
Male's
just put
weaker,
that.
yep.
There are ways to beef up those threaded joints
But Schedule
where they go
40
into
fitting
valves.
helps.
I don't know that helps a lot, but it does a little. The fitting is still weak in the same 2 places, sorry. Either one, males or females are both weak.
Terry, continue on.
Okay, and Parks and Cemetery, we have $200,000 that was received from the Utah Outdoor Recreation Grant, and that'll be going towards the Fort Cedar Railroad Trail. And then we received $341,640 from UDOT pass-through funding for Fiddler's Canyon Trail.
Sweet.
In the Water Department, we have a transfer of $2 million from the general fund to the water fund for well exploration that you've been talking about.
So that was one that I had a question when I was reading through this. So this is something we already did we talked about it in the budget this year, right?
This
is I'm sorry, Terry.
This was part of the $4 million that has been talked about for years.
Okay, so this is us starting to take from that 4 million. So this 2 million is us moving it so that we can start with these new ones that we just are now getting bids on? Is that what this is for?
Well, you guys will tell us on item number
Yeah.
12.
Okay.
So the
That's
answer
what
is
the
yes.
money's.
Okay.
That's why we're moving that money, so it's active and we can actually spend it for well exploration.
Okay, it's not for something we've already approved for sure. It's for something that we're about to talk about.
Correct.
We're good.
So in order to fund the citywide meter replacement project to change all the meters to Neptune, what we did is we cobbled together some projects that we wanted to close or to reallocate those funds. And before you on the screen is how we did that. And Jonathan's here to explain anything to you about that.
I mean, I think we went through these quite a bit when we were talking in the budget cycle and how we were going to get to the 1.6, so.
Hopefully this reflects what we talked about during the budget cycle. You closed down a number of products, the cathodic protection, the line on 450 West, the Amy Avenue line. There was some money moved out of Martin's Flat. It was moved to Mud Springs and then moved out of Mud Springs into this project. Backup generators at Quichapa are gone. And the 1045 North project, whatever was residue in there, moved over.
Have we purchased were we able to get the meters at the price and got it all, have we got them all purchased and?
I think we had,
Matt,
we had been
those are quite the shoes,
purchasing
Matt.
some meters, but I think
You
we
and I
got-
could hang out together and.
Matt Baker, Water Department, yes, all the meters have been purchased.
Sweet, so we got them all
We're
for the
just-
discount and
We're just waiting for the larger ones to show up, and they said end of October.
good.
How are you doing on getting them installed?
They're going.
Did we hire that, or are we doing it?
We've got them guys started on it 2 weeks ago, and they got about 400 in the ground already.
Wow. I just had a question on the backup generator of Quichapa well. I remember us talking about it, but I need a refresher on that because did we abandon that? I know for this project, was it because until we fixed that pressurization, it wasn't
Right.
worth? Yeah.
We're going to change all those wells out in Quichapa to lower horsepower, and we need different generators.
All right.
And wasn't it also, we thought it was gonna be one size generator, and when it came back, it was like a whole semi-trailer that was gonna be needed, and it was just out of the realm.
It's a custom-made semi-trailer size.
Yeah, so it was like, one, we couldn't afford it, and two, we're not gonna need it.
600 horsepower pumps, and we're going to go down to 200 horsepower pumps.
Very good.
When they fix our pressure problem.
Yeah, we got to fix our pressure problem. All right, thank you. That was my question.
Cool.
And then we have ARPA funding that we're receiving from Central Iron County Water Conservancy and the Utah Division of Water Quality to use for the backup generator for Quichapa wells and the additional funds for BLM South well. And then there's all of the rollovers.
Did that make sense, Jonathan? Go back.
Jonathan Stathis, the ARPA funding is for the project at the wastewater treatment plant.
Oh, he meant the last slide. You want this one, right, Mayor?
Yes.
This is to help pay for the 800 and something thousand to finish off the
Yeah,
well at
that's
BLM
for
South.
that's for the Neptune meters project, but the next slide is for the wastewater treatment plant
Oh, sorry.
project.
Sorry.
So there wasn't money taken from, if you go back one more. So there wasn't money
That went to
taken.
the meters.
That all went to meters?
Yes.
Okay, so where it says BLM South, that's incorrect.
No, so
No.
the funding source on Martin's Flat and BLM South, one funding source was impact fees, one funding source was more of a generalized funding source. So you had to take the impact fees and put them over to an impact fee eligible project, which the Neptune meters is not.
Oh, this is the 415,000.
And then you had to take a corresponding amount out of the other project
Correct.
and put it to the meters.
Okay, sounds good.
Correct.
And then in order to finish the BLM South well, we had to use funds from the cathodic protection project and the backup generator project.
Gotcha, okay.
After this, we should be all square.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
long as Terry knows what's going on.
Well, Jonathan helps me.
Yeah.
And then we also have the rollover list, and I didn't make slides for each one of those projects.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
One thing, it's not in here, but I'm wondering, I mean, now would potentially be the time to do it. And I don't want to skip ahead, and I'm not trying to, but I'm wondering, going on, when we talk about item number 11, I wonder if something that's gonna happen in our discussion in number 11 will also bring us back to trying to make some budget revisions. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is I want to have a discussion of when we're doing 800 West using this agreement, are we also not going to try and find the money to go ahead and put the storm drain down 800 West at the same time? Because what we're talking about in 11 doesn't include the storm drain, does it?
You budgeted money to complete the underground utilities associated with the 800 West expansion.
Including storm drain?
Storm drain, water, sewer.
Okay, so the issues that we've talked about last week with the flooding and everything, that would be taken care of.
Well, so there's a caveat with that storm drain.
Okay,
That takes a storm drain from Coal Creek Road to where 800 West stops right now in the industrial park. It doesn't take it all the way to 200 North.
okay. Because what I'm getting at is I would like, when we get to that item, I'm gonna make a proposal that would be funding that would get the rest of the project done, which would require a budget revision. So I'm just saying, when we get to that item, I may have a suggestion for a budget revision that we would have to add, but we'll just. when we
Is
talk
this
about
an
it.
item, after we get through some of this, do we want to just come back to a little touch on the budget discussion again?
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, or I could even just mention it now.
Just mention.
I'm just wondering if we,
Ideas, you can bring
I
to the
mean,
action meeting.
I just think it's really important to get that storm drain project finished. Is there a way with the funding, and I know the mayor's not gonna like this, but the other $2 million that we still have sitting for Martin's, for that project out north, is that money that we could move to finish this storm drain on 800 West? We're taking 2 million of it today. What if we just took what was needed to finish the storm drain out of the
Taking
remaining?
2 million to drill wells.
I know.
I don't know how
A little
much,
difference between drilling wells and building a storm drain
you know how
problem.
much, I don't
know,
even know if
but-
we have, I don't even know if we have an estimated cost to go from 200 North and connect it.
I'm just wondering if it's even eligible funds, first off. That would be the,
Impact fee?
well,
Oh,
no.
it's general fund
General
money.
funds, so it could be, yes.
I just,
But then you're taking them from you're taking them from one enterprise fund and moving to another enterprise fund. That's generally not.
it was just a thought. I just know.
need to
I
know
do
how
think,
much we're.
I mean, so my understanding is the storm drain has been expanded by SUU, like 200 South to 800 West, all that. So we're pretty much expanded to 200 North, right?
Correct.
And then the planned continuation of that from where it ends on the north to Coal Creek would also be upsized, contemplating that connection, but we just have a little bottleneck between 200 North and north of Industrial.
I'm just thinking if we're already
And
doing the
so-
job on 800, this would be the time to do it.
Yeah, but that
Well,
money,
I guess what I'm getting at, though, is where that's already paved, depending on the funding source and everything else, because I do, for storm drain, it is nice to use enterprise funds for storm drain if we can. If we're gonna have to rip up a road anyway, we're everything we did with Coal Creek Trail contemplated that, everything we're gonna go north to, and we're just ripping up and connecting what's already there. I don't see too much of a hazard other than just, the risks of precipitation in the meantime.
I mean, this is not a hill I'm,
Can you zoom out?
dying on. I'm just curious if this was the time to, we're already doing a budget revision. We know there's, and don't get me wrong, I want to do water exploration. This is not trying, but at the same time, we've been kicking the bucket down the road for a few years on doing the extension. We're gonna put the pipe in on the north end of it.
Right.
So,
I don't even know if we know how much that's gonna cost.
and I figured that was the case.
We probably have an old estimate and a budget proposal from a year ago,
I
but
don't know, is this a couple $100,000 project? Is it
Oh,
$2
no.
million project?
this is more than a couple $100,000.
Yeah, we had proposed this in the budget for this current fiscal year, but it didn't get budgeted.
That's right, what was your proposal?
I can't remember how much it was. It seemed like it was around $1 million.
I think it was $1.1 million or something like that.
We're
Just a
looking
little
at,
over.
it's a little over a half mile. Oh,
Yeah.
you're measuring now. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, a little over half.
Could you do it in meters, please?
0.64 of a mile.
One thought I did have on this is we currently have a project budgeted to add a storm drain along I-15. And Kent, maybe if you could zoom out just a little bit. I believe that project goes from, from about Center Street, going north up to 200 North. or excuse me, to Harding, yeah, to Harding Avenue. UDOT is, and can't, correct me if I'm wrong, but UDOT has said that we really can't do that project until UDOT goes to widen to 3 lanes through this section.
Yeah, they're concerned about us doing a storm drain project that ends up limiting their options on how they do the freeway expansion.
Yeah, for the 3
So
lanes.
Yeah.
how much have we already budgeted for that project?
I think that was 6.
So I think they
I think
could
it's a
do
little over
that
a
while
million.
they were doing
Was
that.
it?
Yeah, it's a little over $1 million for that. So I was thinking
Can't
maybe
they
we
just
could
put that in?
repurpose that in the
Reason
meantime,
why
and
not
then
Yeah?
until UDOT is ready to do that. Now, there are some things with the south interchange where we might need to use some of that money for some betterment, but I think the bulk of it could possibly go to this project too.
If the consensus is we don't need to talk about it, that's fine. I just thought this would be
No,
the time
I think
to at
it's a good
least-
point. Yeah.
I mean, because again, even if you're doing construction in an area, you've already brought a crew out. I mean, it's a different type of project, but kind of not.
Well,
Why
and
don't-
we
why
have
don't you let us
increased the
bring you the-
discharge to that area too.
Why don't you let us bring you the estimates that we
Yeah, let's
used in the
look at
last
that.
budget?
Yeah.
And we can bring you what was budgeted for this project along I-15 as well.
Okay.
Then you have real numbers to think about.
And this is a resolution, so it's not like it was gonna have a chance for action agenda anyway, right? Or consent agenda, so.
Oh, no. And then one more note on the budget revision, and talking with Terry, she plans on, if necessary, bringing one of these quarterly.
Yeah.
So if this is something we can't come to consensus on
Yeah, let's get
in
this. one done.
September, we can do it in we can come again in January.
Okay.
Actually, it would be in December.
Sorry, December. Got my quarters wrong.
Okay?
Okay.
Action?
Yeah, this has to go in action.
Thank you.
Did we do a public hearing?
Oh, no, we did not.
Let's open the public hearing. Budget matters. Anybody's interested? Seen none? We'll close it.
No, we're never
I'm surprised.
interested in spending, how we're spending the money in Cedar City. That doesn't
We,
even
we
matter
are,
at
they're
all.
not. Item 10, or doesn't appear to be. Item number 10,
Us up at night.
We
There-
have,
they're anxious to criticize, however.
Yeah, right on for that.
Yes,
Go ahead.
ma'am.
Item number 10, consider resolution. Did you have something, Terry, before that? Item number 10, consider resolution revising the city's investment policy.
we have 2 slight changes on the investment policy for the city. And just in keeping with state regulations, it seems like we do that a lot here. So as far as suitable investments, we're adding brokered CDs. And what that is they're not directly from a bank, but from a brokerage firm. And it could be, a credit union CD, it could be a company CD. But the state, and I've seen this in the other state that I've worked for, that they're pretty stable investments, and we do already have some. And then the maximum maturity, they're moving it from 3 years to 5 years so that we can get more of a ladder, is what they term it. So we time our investments so as one is maturing, that it can be invested in another
Yeah.
one long-term.
And these are both requirements that the state's asking us to do?
Yes.
They're allowing us to do it.
Yeah, it's more of a,
I don't think the state's asking us. I think it's our investment folks that came to us and pointed out a discrepancy between what we have on policy and what we can do.
Oh,
What's wrong then?
I'm sorry.
So this is
Okay.
the state allowing us to do some different things. And
Yeah.
we get to decide
We
if
have
that's
that flexibility.
okay,
okay.
very good. Business resolution action?
Yeah.
Resolution to action, yes. Item number 11, consider federal aid agreement with Utah Department of Transportation for the 800 West project.
Okay, so on this project, we are now to the time when this project that we applied for a couple of years ago and were awarded can move forward into the design and construction. So in order to make that happen, we need to enter into our standard agreement between the state and the municipality to be able to utilize these federal funds. So that's what this item is for you here today. The dollar amounts are as you see, the total cost of the project as included in the program is the 1.427 million. Of that, our match is the 6.77%, the 96,608, which is in our current budget. And then the federal dollars that will go along with that to get to the total is that 1,330,000 that you see. So this agreement, it's a standard agreement. It's not something we really have the ability to change. But I had Randall look at it anyway, and he's looked at it and says, well, yeah, right? But yeah, we do want to enter into this so that we can get that project moving. The state is ready to bring a consultant on board to start that work, and we need to have this agreement in place to do it.
Paul, is this, since we haven't even really, we discussed it briefly a few weeks ago when I brought it up, is this kind of the last missing piece you think that we need to finalize with those two property owners on? Or is there still even more details we're gonna have to try and figure out? Or is this what we've been waiting on?
Once we engage federal funding and UDOT, our ability to negotiate those right-of-ways shifts somewhat.
Okay.
We talked with one of the family members with an interest in there, and what we told him was, we've tried to work with the two families for quite some time now to find an amicable, agreeable solution. Once we take federal aid, that's done, and we move into a more aggressive posture.
Because like I said, I mean, I speak with one of them most Thursdays, and I don't even try to pretend like I know what's going on, and he's just been, we're just waiting on your guys' funding, so now I'm wondering.
If the property owners are still amicable and still would like to reach some sort of consensus agreement, that's fine. But this puts more tools on the table that are more aggressive. It brings takings into the conversation.
I was gonna say, it brings eminent domain into
Yeah,
it.
sure.
A possibility.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully they'll just still be amicable to the idea, and we won't have to worry about it.
Still costs.
Well, they had all agreed to it 2 years ago when Councilwoman Hartley and I met with them.
Yeah.
We met with both parties and they were amicable, but then I don't know, something happened.
Okay.
Put that on consent.
Yes, please put it on consent.
Okay, item number 12, water well exploration locations again.
Because you can get out west there, you can
Go ahead and move you around so much quicker.
Jonathan Stathis, City Engineering Department. We wanted to bring this back to you because we have some new information that we wanted to share with you. Mervyn Cox went back out and looked at some of the locations. One of the locations, 2.4, changed a little bit, moved north. The 2.6 is not really recommended anymore as a spot for drilling a test well, at least in terms of the what Mervyn Cox was saying. He also found two new locations down by Enoch Well number 3, which were not previously shown as possible locations. So we wanted to present that information to the council and see if there were possible changes to the recommended locations.
So were the ones that you refer to, Enoch Well number 3, is that across on the east side of 15?
No, they're right there.
Or they're
They're right
they're
next
next to it, okay.
Yeah, there's,
West of I-15.
So Jonathan, walk us through where we left off when we said, okay, let's get bids on this one, and this one. We had decided on
So-
2.1,
2.1, 2.4, and
the old
2.5.
location of 2.4.
Right, the old location of 2.4, and then 2.5.
And then as far as his recommendations, I know it was in the notes, but I just don't remember. Does he prefer 2.4, which one's higher on his list? 2.4 new or potential 2.5?
He's got them as equivalents according
Not the
to our packet.
Yeah, they're about the same.
So then, Jonathan, if we were to say, well, instead of getting a bid on the old 2.4, we now have to make a decision. Do we want 2.4 new or do we want 2.5? That's how I look at it, unless you
Be
want to
down
add
by
both of them.
the-
Well, I think you want the new one.
Yeah, we don't want the old.
No, but he
2.4.
means.
No, but I'm saying, do we move that?
We were gonna move on two of them as.
I mean, that was kind of the plan.
Not three, and so he's saying, do we go 2.4 or 2.5?
Do you want to bid on both of them, or do you want to bid on just 2.4 new is what yeah.
And we're talking about the new one.
So we had chosen 3 previously, so I guess the question is, do we want to stay with 3? Or 3 locations? If we do, then would you still want 2.1, the new 2.4 and 2.5?
I mean, that would make
So-
more sense, but
Is 2.5 far enough away from the old 2.4 to really make a difference to say, well, if one's not a good site anymore, is the other?
yeah, why did he move away from the old 2.4? Why is he?
I mean, it moved north, and to me, if 2.4 old is bad, I can't see that 2.5 is going to be much better.
Yeah, it
but
looks
that's
awfully
just
close.
Looking at topography or, well, a dot on a map.
Yeah.
Did he give a
and
reason why
proximity.
he
He just,
abandoned 2.4 and said, but 2.5 is now good?
well, 2.5 was always good.
Oh, that's right. That was there before.
Yes.
He just wanted to
Okay.
move 2.4 further north.
Okay.
And I think a little easterly to the mountain.
Yeah.
So old 2.4 wasn't necessarily bad. He said that the new
This is better.
2.4 is better.
Better, yes.
And 2.5 was still in the realm of.
It's still good.
It's still good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, we have the 3 then, so to me it would make sense, 2.1, 2.4 new, 2.5, so those really haven't changed. The question is, do we also want to add one? Do we want to add getting a bid for one of those 2 down there?
Right.
Down where? Up by the,
No,
By
by Enoch Well number
by-
3.
by Enoch Well number 3.
Because he's
That's
added
kinda-
2 new spots.
That's kind of up.
Okay.
As far as the river,
Yes.
Rapids
As far as
Creek runs.
topography goes, it's up.
Water runs downhill. It's east.
Well,
So, do we want to add
would
one?
get.
I mean, obviously infrastructure from one of those locations would be super easy. 'cause we
Yeah,
already
very
have
Enoch
those.
Well.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're a couple hundred yards away.
So
And I
we
think
had.
that's, go ahead. I don't, I'm not opposed to those at all. The reason being, I think we gotta do something to somehow get some of these wells to where we can get water in a pipe, and that's kind of, would be something that would be, if they turn out to be, or if they are a good well, that would be a good option to get something drilled.
Jonathan, is there any?
Water into a pipe.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say, is there any problem, any concern in trying to drill that close to Enoch Well number 3?
There is some concern. I think 2.8 would be too close. That one's about 500 feet. 2.9 is 1,000 feet. Even the 2.9 is close,
Yeah.
is marginal, because if we do drill that close, we're probably gonna have to reduce the flow rate that we're pumping out of Enoch 3.
So doesn't all those down in that area fit into the concern, the concern that the state said with the aquifer being lowered and the fissures and all of that? What was that study what was it, 150? You had quoted the,
I'm not part
Well,
of this discussion.
Yeah, I mean, in the groundwater,
I'm,
it's part of the groundwater management plan.
yeah, the groundwater management
In-
plan.
in those-
And
in
they've
those
stated that whole area as a concern, and so why, and based on some conversation we had in a meeting earlier today about other locations, I really think we ought to get some data and then come back and make a decision.
I don't think the groundwater management plan did any sort of in-depth analysis on what caused the fissures, particularly out in Enoch. It might have mentioned them, but I don't think it,
I think it just says there's 2
Pointed
areas of
fingers.
decline, and that one and Quichapah the other.
But all of the readings out there are lowering at the same rate, and the springs that used to be there are dry. Of course, we're in a dry period, which to me, and I'm not a professional, would indicate that it's all the same, all the same tub. And we stick one more straw in, then
Well,
what?
I guess that's my concern with both of these.
I do have one other thought, and Jonathan, you or Matt might be able to answer this. My understanding is, though,
you have the heat map.
the pipe, the infrastructure we already have in place coming from Enoch Well number 3 would really only support, the current infrastructure would really only support adding one more well probably, correct?
No.
Or could you put, how many more wells could you put?
Much more.
Probably three more wells,
We could put up to 3 more wells in the same infrastructure we already have coming from Enoch well number 3?
except for the line going under.
Yeah, it's an 18-inch pipe.
Okay.
It'll handle
Just the
5 wells
I-15
easily.
Just
Even
the
the 16-inch pipe going under the freeway will handle 4 wells.
Okay.
There's a heat map the state engineer publishes showing the areas of decline. Those Enoch wells that we have are far north of the decline areas. At least if you look at that map.
Yeah,
Is
the
that what you're looking for,
Yeah, I was
Jonathan?
gonna,
groundwater decline right there, item number 2.
yeah.
Far west then, essentially.
Well, they're east of the decline areas and they're more up towards the bluish than they are in the yellow and red.
Yeah, so it's kind of on the margin of that, the decline of the declining area.
Well, isn't yellow and orange more of a decline? That's a more.
Yes.
Okay.
But they really did, they must not have had much data because they didn't continue the heat.
Right, there's no wells up in there to really,
Yeah.
to measure it, and so then the question is it the same tub or not? That we're,
I mean, to Councilman Riddle's point, which I do agree with, is if we were to be successful there, I mean, we could have extra water in our system for very little cost.
right.
Of
For a
infrastructure.
better cost.
Huh?
For a better cost.
For a better cost, yeah. The cost per gallon to deliver is gonna be a lot less.
Oh, absolutely.
The
But
other-
we also talked about some alternative sites today. I don't know if.
So
we
do you
bring
wanna
that up
table
here.
this till you guys bring those ones to
Yeah,
us?
I think we have some data coming back that might make it. You have flying, so to me, we do it in somewhere that we can get it into a pipe quickly. And some of the sites that have been suggested are somewhere between 3,000 and 6,000 north, out by the water treatment facility. We also have the Water Conservancy District that is starting to drill out in Area 71, which will give us some good data from that area, which we can get into a pipeline. We know that the Flying L subdivision, and he was gonna gather some data that we think we know on where the barn reception center is. All those that are grouted culinary have tested well when we've had a concern about TDS in those areas. And so I know there's a well on Jones out there that's 600 feet deep, hit gravel, test pumped at 1,400 gallons a minute with only a 50-foot drawdown for 2 days. Anyway, I think there's some options that aren't in that concern area where we can get water in a pipeline quicker as well,
So do you?
potentially.
So for you then, do you still want to move forward on getting bids on 2.1, 2.4, and 2.5 and just not add 2.8 or 2.9, or do you want to wait on all of them now?
To me, I think we need to focus first on the most immediate, which would mean that we move our focus from the north to somewhere we can get into the pipeline faster. So my preference would be to get some data next week, and then maybe look, we also mentioned Summit, well, south of Summit, so on the west side of 15 for potential wells that we have a pipeline out there as well. And so, to me, I think we shift our focus to the more immediate need and then look at some long-term ones after we have some more data on these and what we're gonna do with those. Because that changes the conversation.
Councilman, does that data you're referring to, I guess, this is discussions you've had in your water
Yes, it
committee
is.
meeting? So does that information, that data will be, the data can come within a week?
Yes,
2 weeks?
Paul said he would
Yes.
get it this week.
Paul Monroe, they do have some data and he was gonna try to collect some more.
Okay, so it's not months waiting for this data to come?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's well logs and then there's other options like the Chelsea subdivision. If we can't do it on a little sliver across the, 3,000, there's probably some opportunity there. I just think we have a lot of options that are really close to infrastructure to get water in a pipe.
Well, it certainly seems like that's maybe an expedient and a,
If I may, Mr. Phillips.
yes.
If you don't mind.
No.
So I was also in that meeting.
Yeah.
we've been having these meetings and discussing this, and Mr. Cox has determined that we need to get water out of these existing areas around 3,000 North, and I've concurred with that for 2 years. We keep talking about we ought to. I think it's a good thing, and I think we should do it. Mr. Monroe agreed to bring some test results that he knows of that are out there in that area to give us something to look at. I think that's a great idea, and I'd hope that he would. I would not object one bit to taking one of those wells and putting it somewhere else, especially in that area. But he also cautioned us a week ago that the results, the volume out of these wells could be 300, 400, 500 gallons of water a minute, and I was shocked. I really thought they were going to produce a lot more water than that, and he said, no, they just, they're 500, 600 gallons is about the best you can get, and we don't have any wells that are less than 1,000 gallons, and so,
He was talking further down in the valley, though, further east.
Well, and that's what I want you to show me, and I don't mind. I'm more than willing, personally, to allocate money for a well anywhere in this valley that you'd like to do, and the risk, but I'd like to see what those produce and see what the
Well, we
quality
showed
of
you
the
the well
water
log on
is.
the Jones well, which is close to the Chelsea subdivision.
And I would love
We
to.
pulled it up in our meeting today, and it produced very well and had gravel.
I'm sure there are, but he shocked me with his comment that these wells are not going to produce
He
the
was
kind
talking
of
about
size.
the ones further down in the valley.
Mayor, I do have.
Well, he was talking about the one that was right there by, that was Brent Hunter's new well that was up in that area, and where that one that Spencer Jones's was, and that area is what we were talking about at the time. But it's okay. It's all right.
Well,
It's a great place to discuss it.
also talked about
And
it.
if I may, Mr. Cox, we also talked about, besides that if you put them in those areas, there's a pipeline right there by them, but you don't have the contact time before you can put it in the pipeline. And so the only way you can do that is with a wet well, so you got to build a basement underneath these things. And if you're going to that kind of expense, that has merit, because there's a 12-inch line on 3,000, and that's great, and I like that.
You're talking to
But-
chlorinate, contact time for chlorination.
You gotta have contact time for the chlorine, which means you have to build a basement underneath these things to collect the water in until we get that done. I think all of those are great discussions. I would be more than happy to consider that, but exploration should not stop for a well in the Central Valley. If we develop that, and it's great, we should absolutely do it. I couldn't help but notice that on this, that it looks like we moved $2 million. I only think in thousands. I don't know what a million is. $2 million from the, what we call the Barron, the Rush Lake money into the other, and yet we were able to get test wells drilled for $400,000 apiece. We're talking 3 of them. We did 3 of them before, and we got it for $1.2 million. So assuming that we can do as well on the next go-around, $2 million would give us the potential of 5 test wells. I am willing to go with that, even though I realize that there are, if ever we get a chance to drill out in Rush Lake and get water out of Rush Lake, we should certainly take it. And the price that was offered and talked about was a wonderful price, and I think that's great. And it draws water not just from Brappett's Creek, but from other areas in the north, up in those Black Hills. So we're down, and that would be a great idea to do it. And I don't see any problem. If they come and he's got a well for 4,000 gallons of water a minute, then we better go back into a budget adjustment and try and figure out a way. 4,000 gallons would be amazing, since we don't have any wells that produce more than about 1,500 gallons of water a minute. Am I right? And so I think there's lots of avenues, and they will go on for all of the rest of our lives, of water, ways and ideas and what we need to do with water. What we need to not do about these things is to bog down in one item that I think it's a great idea, Mr. Cox, but I don't think you should stop the rest of the process from going on. I personally changed my mind on the well up by Enoch. I have read that report, and I've listened to Hanson Allen Luce, and I've listened to Willow Sticks, and been concerned that we're going to drop that aquifer up there on that hill that we were the fault and that we were going to do it. And I look at that and look at it and look at it up there, and I'm not sure that's the case. I think that Brappett's Creek comes out of a really big canyon, and it cuts north around Summit, and some of that water gets through the Wind Gap, and other parts of that water must go down through that sagebrush. It's a crazy place to drill a well, if you ask me, but we sure did it and have a great well out there. And if there's some more water to be taken out of that water that is getting separated off where it goes through the Wind Gap, wonderful. I think it's probably going around the hill and all of it's heading to Rush Lake. But my personal opinion would be plan on 5 test wells with the $2 million that you've just moved, and then drill where you want to. Drill up on the top, drill down in the Rush Lake area, drill them down in Cedar City proper where you can find water, even on our property at the old treatment plant or wherever. You get to make those decisions. You're the council and you have that decision. But I think that's valid. I think exploration should continue, has to continue. And yes, we're going to get water soon from the west. We may get enough water to replace our spring water up at Martin's Flat. We need new sources of water, and we need them immediately. And I've changed my mind. I think that probably the best thing to do, shortest term, is to drill one up on the top. My second advice would be
On the top.
it is up on, it's top of
2.9.
No, yeah, one of those 2 up there by our existing Enoch 3 well, up there in the flat. Drill one more up there, or
So
maybe
east side
2.
of I-15 like we did.
East side, no,
West.
west side of I-15.
Because we talked about both sides, right?
No, we have never talked about the east side.
Okay.
It's the west side of I-15, near our well 3, and get another test well in there and see what we can do. We can put water in our pipeline there with plenty of pipeline capacity and bring it right into our drinking water system. And then decide on the west of Wind Gap what we want to do, and then decide what we want to do in town. And I personally support well drilling in the farmlands on 3,000 or even up at wherever. I support all of those things. I think they should be done. I don't think we should stop doing what we're trying to do, because we have 2 wells out at Rush Lake, BLM South and BLM North, that both produce water in the 300 to 400 range of TDS. That's amazing. Those are great. Fantastic. If we find some more water out there and we think there's enough volume in that runoff area to do that. The one on the north is clearly drawing water from somewhere besides Brappett's Creek, but the one on the south is clearly Brappett's Creek, and that's your decision to make.
So some of the other data that was going to be collected this week was looking at, there's some potential farm wells that could be retrofitted to municipal standards.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do some exploration there. And so
And
I am not.
that is the issue with the farm wells, right? So because the water table's so high, that's what the water district's been doing, is retrofitting farm wells. Very few are deeper than 300 feet.
Correct.
Which is why they don't produce. But in all the well logs, especially once you go down to 400, 500, 600, it's all boulders, cobbles, that kind of formation, which is why the 600-foot wells produce 1,500 GPM.
Correct.
So we'd need to re-drill.
We
a
would
deeper well.
have to re-drill, but I mean, we're trying to
so
budget
anyway.
for
Yeah.
test wells anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're right there.
And so I have never suggested that we quit long-term. I'm just saying that we focus on the short-term and then keep it going. And if we find a good well to get water in a pipeline, that's going to probably influence the decision on what we do further out. Because we get another well out at Rush Lake, we still have a $10, $15 million problem of getting it to
Yeah,
town.
but that's not long-term, that's in the 3-year, 4-year range. If we had 4 wells producing 1,000 gallons or more each, that would be on the table for the next 3 years.
And we also have a, $10 million problem with our pressure out west.
Yeah.
And so.
We do.
I'm
That's
just saying that
inevitable,
we
and
need
we're
to-
gonna do that. We have no choice, we're gonna do that.
Right. But what I'm saying is, if we're gonna bond for any of those and then turn around and try to bond for a pipeline out to Rush Lake, it's not gonna happen. I mean, in the short term, and so let's focus our energy on the most likely quickest return. That's my point.
That is Rapids Crest, that's out by Enoch 3.
Well, or the valley. So what if
Or
we
the
did
valley,
this?
yes.
So what if we did this?
The
Yeah,
valley is
let's
not
go-
any quicker.
Let's see if we can find a place where we can
Where we
find
can all
compromise
Well,
here.
here's what I'm thinking. Go up north, or go up again go up a little bit. Going off of the mayor's estimate of 5 for the 2 million, if we are able to get them that, what if we go ahead and we continue with 2.1, we add the new 2.4, we pull 2.5 for now, we add 2.9, which is what the mayor's suggesting, which would get us down there, and then, so that would still just be 3 in this region, and then that would leave us 2 that we could add out in the valley at a later date once you identify some sites. So it'd still do 3 up here, it'd do, and then 2 out in the valley. Because going to what the mayor's saying is 2.9 roughly infrastructure-wise would be about, maybe it'd be close to doing one in the valley. They're both close to infrastructure. This is 1,000 feet away, right? A farm one might be even more than that, depending on which one it is on.
Well,
So-
and the wet wells, if you found a couple you could rehab, you could run 2 into one wet well for not much and get the same coverage. I just think there's more options, out in the valley than there is by the Enoch one, but that's just my
I think
opinion.
I would agree with, well, I agree with a lot of it. But I think with what Councilman Wilkie has said, I would like to see us do one close to our Enoch well, explore out there on the north, but I truly agree, we need to find something right close to, if we can get that data of what you're talking about. And let's really look at that within the next few weeks and see where we can really determine if one of those really is a viable thing, then let's look at it and do it.
And then Mayor, just so we understand kind of where information's coming from, just for my clarification. So the Wednesday meeting that happens once a week, originally my understanding was that was created and kind of, wanted to meet once a week because we were on a timeline, because it originally was designed to come up with an idea and a plan for the why. But it sounds like you've kind of expanded that to now just an overall.
It migrates. It's a 2-hour-long meeting, and it migrates. What really we started out talking about was a way to build that pipeline with those 2 pressure pumps coming from the west, and to do that for a price far below $17 million.
That's what it started out as.
I think we can do that. And as we got into that, and they're working on that, their engineers are trying to get estimates and doing a good job, and he's they do things cheaper than we do. I'm sorry, they do.
He's talking about the
Conservancy
District.
But
Well, and
then we started
isn't
saying, well, if we got to do that, we really need some kind of an agreement between the city and the district. If the
Yeah.
district's going to start building our infrastructure, it's about time we really seriously talked about the agreement. And then we started talking about the agreement, and we started talking about the shortages. And Mr. Monroe brought the usage of the cities and the district and the Enoch and us, the numbers. And it was interesting, and we all studied it, and we hummed and hawed about it. But it just keeps migrating to, well, that's great. What is the 1-year, 5-year, and 10-year plan for this basin? And we argue and talk about how long it's going to take to get to Pine Valley. And it's going to take a while. And I think it's inevitable and is only prudent for elected officials to be looking, to not be holding their, closing their eyes, sticking their head in the sand on our problems today. And then Pine Valley's a ways out. We need a 5-year plan. We need a 2-year plan and a 5-year plan. And then we hope we'll have a 10-year plan down the road.
I guess my question is, what's the difference between that committee?
What's that?
What's the difference between that committee and the once-a-month regional water committee? Aren't they they're kind of meshing into the
It's just
same?
broad. We didn't meet today with the other one. It is different because, in my opinion, I started it with the idea that we need to form an agreement between the two, and I'd like to see a smaller group, smaller audience to talk about it, and then we'll bring it up. It'll have to go to public hearings and meetings or all kinds of stuff before this agreement would happen probably, but.
So does Enoch meet with them?
But, that's fine. It will merge and it will happen. And in the meantime, we're working towards a way to build the pipe up the canyon.
Okay.
But when you talk about 1-year, 2-year, 5-year, and 10-year plans, you can't help but talk about wells in the 1-year, 2-year, and 5-year plan. Because Cedar City has a real problem, but so do others, but we're only concerned about ours.
Okay. So what do you guys want to do with the wells? What instruction do we want to have them for next week?
I
Well,
think what's proposed is that we come up with something so he can do a request for
And I know that this might be
proposals.
more in-depth than we normally would do, but two of us will not be here next week, so. Oh, you guys can't even vote on this next week then? Because two of us won't be here and Councilman Melling will not be on this, so we're gonna have to push this to a whole nother round of meetings anyways.
my question is, if we look at 2.1, do we have the ability to move forward on 2.1?
American be the one.
Can't the mayor vote? I
The
mean,
mayor
there's
is
a
only
tie.
there as a
Only
tiebreaker. He
tie,
can't
so
create
he
a
can't-
quorum for you.
Well, so if anything, that allows us to get more, so let's just, that allows us to get the more information. It pushes it one more round of meetings and then we'll have more information on the valley ones and we'll revisit the discussion then. I mean, our
Kicks
hands
the
are
can
tied.
down the road.
There's, well,
Well, we can't vote next week anyway.
can't
I
vote
got
next
it.
week,
I
so-
understand that. I'm disappointed. I'd like to
So-
see us move forward. I'd like to
Sorry.
see us be getting some requests for
If we
proposals
all
out
agreed
there.
with you 100%, we still couldn't do it next week.
Because these two are gonna
That's
run
the
on.
point.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I know.
yeah.
And
Our
so-
fault.
We're sorry.
I got it. Two people are gonna be gone.
Yeah,
I-
so you
plan
can
for
be
a
disappointed
year.
all you want. We can't vote
So-
next week,
Yeah.
no
I
matter if we
understand.
agree or disagree.
Okay. well,
I understand.
so just tell-
A little funny
Disap-
fact, I know
Being
you guys are out
disappointed
there.
has not been a
If you
total
drive
issue for
Highway
me.
50
Been that way a lot.
to Nevada,
Yeah.
have you ever seen the signs out there lately? They have two big flashing billboards. Maybe you guys don't go that way.
I
I
do.
happen to go that way. Have you ever gone that way lately?
Oh, not lately, but I've gone there many times.
So out there, what's that called?
Gab, Tonopah.
No. This is in Utah.
Oh,
So they have two big flashing signs. Guess what it says on those flashing signs?
don't know.
Cedar City, quit stealing our water.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's must about Garrison or Baker.
It's well, no, it's probably
Oh, what?
25 miles from Milford.
Well,
What's that little place called right there?
Lund?
No, it's
no, that's
it's
on the
north
other
of
way.
Lund.
I don't know.
But I've been driving that way a lot lately, and I just want to. I'll take a picture of it because I got to go back out there shortly.
Okay.
Frisco?
Now,
By
I,
Frisco. Yeah.
Okay. So,
done
so what are we
anyways.
doing
now,
here? Is this,
Spencer,
So
did
we
you want to
can't
say
really-
anything
I
to
know,
this
but are we tabling,
conversation?
or, I mean, just for,
Mr. Jones?
just put it
Or
on the
just
next
not?
work meeting agenda? Thank you.
I guess the only thing that I'll say, obviously,
Come do your, follow the plan, say your name.
So Spencer Jones, you obviously know the reason why I'm here. Just one thing I wanted to bring to your attention. I know there's at least one person here in the room that was involved in this previously, but when this well right here was drilled, there was an arrangement with Enoch City because of their concern with interference. And there's a number of different ways of interpreting an agreement. But one of the ways of interpreting there really leans towards Enoch City. In fact, Cedar City you put in a T and a valve to provide water to Enoch City if this site, there was interference. Since there's been either UGS or USGS publication that's come out that this water historically comes down through here and comes down into this fault area. And the reason why you've got the heat map here is because the water that historically has come down through here and down over this fault into this area where all the springs were at, again, a publication by UGS or USGS, is because of the groundwater mining of everything up in this area, including Parowan. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Jonathan, can you bring up that map that shows all the wells in that area?
There's a lot. We were looking at it today.
There is quite a
There's
few.
tons of
Yeah.
wells down through that valley.
There is a way to cure all this.
What's that?
Keep us up, the holy, attend the temple, pay your tithe. And I think that's the answer, truly do.
So while he's pulling that up, there has been some good work moving forward with the district, with Enoch, with, the county.
The county.
Players involved, and so I think we can resolve this problem area-wide
together.
instead of all of us competing for the same resource and duplicating infrastructure. And so that, to me, is kind of why I've shifted a little bit, because the district's drilling that well in 71, which is going to bring water into this valley.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So every pink dot you see on that map is a well.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of wells in Enoch.
And so I'm just going to, and I mean, just obviously, I'm not here to comment. I'm here to obtain information. But with this, yes, there is a lot of PODs or point of diversions there. Many of them are not in operation. Some of them, pump a single house. One of them there, I know pumps for 2 houses. And so they're very low volume. Some of them are not even in operation. I was just referring to, if you want to zoom back out, maybe just a little bit further out,
Or just scoot over, maybe?
and then go to the left. Yeah.
You're gonna have to zoom in one more
So-
for it to pick them up.
Yeah, so go ahead and zoom back out again.
That's ours up there on the
Yeah,
right.
so the report, the publication is that historically this water has flowed this way as well as this way. But the water that's come down here, the decline in this area of these springs, of the whole reason why there was Elk Springs, later called Johnson Springs, and then later in the past century, Enoch Town, or before it was a city, was because of these springs. But because of the water table decline in Parowan Valley and Summit Valley, and this water coming this way, that water doesn't have the ability to continue to go this way like it once did. And so, and that was done, that report was much more recent than the arrangement between Enoch and Cedar of here at the intersection of Mid-Valley Road and Highway 91, of putting a valve in to Enoch City to provide water to them because of the interference. I do know that this well here, I have firsthand knowledge that when this well was drilled, the time correlated when that well was put into action, that it already had dried up one well within that period of time, and that well had flown for decades. So anyways, I just bring that up. That's just one ramification amongst many, but I only bring that up just because there was discussion of right here of publications that are, again, done by the UGS or USGS, as well as the reasoning for the heat map down here, so.
Well, I would think that, Mr. Jones, I would think that if we did decide to move on 2.9, I would hope that we would have quite a lengthy discussion on what are the possible ramifications of adding another one there? What potential petitions would we receive and those types of things? I mean, that doesn't, I would be curious to hear and see that report too, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Should we go to the next one?
Put on action, yep. We're gonna delay it, I think. You delay it next week?
October 8th? Well, because they're not going to have enough to go.
Because we don't have one in October 1st.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't have council meeting on the 1st, so.
Okay, thank you. Item number 13, options for the city residential lots along VA Way.
Yep, I'm just gonna come down here so that way I can use the pointer.
That's
if I
fine.
want to. So, I think most of you kind of know what's going on here. So these, in part of the agreement, when the VA wanted to put in the cemetery, there was an agreement with the city. I don't know all the details, but the city put in this VA way. So the decision was made then, well, why don't we go ahead and just stub in for these 4 lots? Since then, that's when the water acquisition, let's call it, for the dry lots versus wet lots. So my understanding is these are dry lots, meaning we never gave water for it. So when the developer, whoever does purchase these 4 lots, they would then be required to bring water in for those. So, I mean, I've kind of had thoughts on these lots for quite a while. They first were, I think they were finished in like 2017 or 18.
Something like that.
It's been a while. My understanding of
Something
the
like
previous
that.
city attorney is they were put out once, like there was a public notice that was put out. They were open for bid. Nobody bid on them. They never sold. So we've just been sitting on them ever since. So now that the VA cemetery is done, I kind of had forgotten a little bit, but when Councilman Phillips and I were up there for the dedication, and you just see how beautiful of a place it is, I thought, okay, we really need to decide what to do with these. Also, during construction, they were kind of used as staging for construction, so that's another reason why I've kind of waited till now. Now that they're done and they've moved out of there as far as construction, I think it's time that we discuss what we want to do with these 4 lots. So the council's decision ultimately is let's list them and get them, put them up for sale. That's fine. It wouldn't be my first preference. I think we'd be doing an injustice to the beautiful cemetery that the VA has put in there. A couple of my thoughts there are this. I've learned, I don't know all the details, but I've kind of understood that rules as far as, you know, funerals and things at the ceremonies at the VA cemetery are quite limited compared to a normal cemetery. They're a little more stringent. They're a little more, I don't know what the word for it is. Stringent is the word I'll use.
Restrictive.
Military protocol.
Yeah,
is
military
followed.
protocol. So for example, some of the things I've thought about, if you have, you know, as a father of a young family, if I'm driving down from a place multiple hours away and I attend great-grandfather's funeral, and now I just got to, the current cemetery is not really a place where kids would be able to play or, you know, unwind from that before having to get back into a car, just those types of things. And so the other thing that would be concerning, I mean, it's a beautiful view from here. So when you're at the cemetery having, you know, if these were 2-story homes, I don't really love that. And then the other thing that I thought about today is if you're trying to enjoy a nice service and there's homes right there, we're not going to restrict what people do in their own homes, of course, which I'm also agreeing with. But as far as like noise, if somebody's out working on a car or having a party or that kind of stuff while somebody's trying to have a, you know, a funeral service here close by, it could be disruptive. So my recommendation would be, I'm not saying this is something we need to do tomorrow, but something I'd like to at least start putting the plan in place is some type of a public open space recreation, very simple, very calm, peaceful. I don't even necessarily know if a playground. My suggestion would honestly be some trees, some grass, maybe a little pavilion. I don't even know if a bathroom is warranted because the VA cemetery put in a very nice restroom facility. So my idea is to give a twofold. One, give a place for our citizens to go and enjoy a nice view and just kind of be peaceful. And 2 would be a place where families and those that after they've attended a service or before they attend a service could have a little place to, if the family wanted to get together and have a picnic after a funeral. I don't think you could do that at the VA cemetery. I don't think that's something that would be allowed. I could be wrong. So my thought was just, you know, small parking lot, a little bit of grass. We could even do just some more native. I'm not looking for playground or anything like that necessarily. Just, I know that requires, that's twofold. That's the cost to put it in and the cost to maintain it. And I fully understand that, but I don't know. I just want to kind of see what your guys' thoughts were. And I spoke to a few people today. From my real estate background, I would estimate with them being dry lots, they probably hold a value currently being dry of about $80,000, because I would guess developable, they're probably $100,000 lots would be my guess. I mean, they're not super large lots. They're quarter acre. You know, they're, so.
Who owns the land? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, who owns the land directly behind it?
It's us.
I think we do.
Okay,
We own all the way around the tank.
okay. Who, I guess I'm trying to figure out, where does the Saddleback development, Iron Horse development, I know they have the stuff on the, whatever that
They now
direction,
have this
west.
piece too, don't they? Isn't this now theirs also? Aren't they pretty much everything kind
Yeah,
of
I'm
this
just
line this way?
wondering, on
Click on
the,
that one, would you, Kent? That's us.
Oh, that's still us? I thought that was
So
the piece
if you
that
zoom out, please, Kent.
We go along that hillside there.
Yeah, we own all
To the
that
left
along.
Where his arrow is, I think
Yeah,
that's.
that's
there.
all us. Everything
was
else
us
is,
right there.
everything else is development team.
That's not part of the three-way trade with the school district and all that stuff? I thought that was that piece.
No,
Or is
that
that
was
just that
further.
little piece?
It's that little
There's that little
sliver.
front piece.
That's that
That's
little
a little
piece?
sliver.
We
Oh,
own
okay.
is the best piece of real estate in Cedar City.
Gotcha.
okay,
So development team owns the big,
okay,
So is
thank
the-
you.
Is the,
I would say that I think the notion of trying to create some kind of quiet, peaceful place is a good idea. I don't think it needs playground equipment. I don't think it should have playground equipment, if we even do something along these lines. I don't know how often it might be used, but I think it could be something simple, some benches and perhaps a pavilion and some lawn, but really nothing else. Leave some of the natural trees and plant a few trees. But do we need a parking lot, or could we?
Well, the only reason you put a parking lot is because we play by our own rules, and we have a city ordinance that you got to provide off-street parking. I mean, You have plenty of parking along that road. It's a dead end to our property, so people
Right.
could easily park there. But it's the same situation we had at Fiddler's. We had to add a parking lot because we require other people to do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
so we
Well,
should
no,
probably do
that's
it
a
too.
real playground, and there'll be parties and soccer matches, and, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my thought would be, I don't think you'd need more than probably 5 or 6 parking spots. I mean, I
Okay.
think you wouldn't need much.
So is the elevation about the same?
It's even higher. So you'd actually look over the
Cemetery?
You'd look over the cemetery.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, so there's a few things. I know, the VA asked us to put the road in. This was before all the other stuff, right?
Yep.
Right?
That was part of the exchange agreement. When we sold them the property, we were responsible for putting the road in.
Yeah, and then I know some of the, at least the idea was we would try to recapture some of that cost through selling lots. And, some of those lots, I realize these are a little different, but like Saddleback, they're going for big money, a lot more,
Oh, yeah.
$10,000 water acquisition fee is nothing compared to, some.
Yeah, you've got lots, I mean, Saddleback lots, I've sold them for about as cheap as 115, is probably the start. You've got some that, so that's kind of why I was thinking somewhere just over 100 once it's got water to it.
But where I struggle a little bit is, for one, I mean, we're one of the cities in Utah, there's a couple philosophies, right? You can add $6,000 to $8,000 to the cost of every home earmarked for parks that you can't afford unless you raise taxes to maintain, right? Or you're a little more frugal with that, which is what we do. We don't charge exorbitant impact fees for parks because we don't want to raise taxes to have to maintain more. So I would feel if we are going to essentially give it away or just hold it, I would rather would solicit proposals from some kind of group that would, whether a veterans group or something
And I
else that
was
would
just thinking that.
maintain it and improve it their way, because they can do it a lot cheaper than we can as a city.
And I think that would be not a bad option either. I was just thinking that maybe we try to partner with some of the local VA groups and see if one of them,
And maybe, part of that proposal is, if we request proposals, if it's, if someone wants to turn it into recreation and it's, a conditional conveyance and all that, with some restrictions, that would be one. If another is, someone wants to build on it, what are they willing to pay for it, and what are the restrictions they would put in to make sure it's an asset to the cemetery rather than a detriment?
Yeah, that's just the thing, is I want to find something, now that I've seen how amazing of a job they did, I want to find something that accompanies the cemetery if possible, not. The other thing, I just barely thought of this was brought up quite a bit at the dedication, just so you guys know. There was a lot of people talking, what would it take to get the city or allow somebody to paint an American flag on the south tank that faces the cemetery, to again, because you're sitting there in the cemetery and you look up and there's this big blue tank. So there were some people there talking like, do you think the city would ever let us paint the tank with an American flag? And so that's a whole nother discussion for another day. But
Sure, we'd let them, as long as they did it.
They'll maintain it.
so, I mean, yeah, maybe that's the same group that, so I just kind of wanted to get your guys' feel. Again, I just feel we have a responsibility to the taxpayers, and having an asset sit there for going on 10 years now, like, let's do something with it. Let's make a plan for it, whether that's get rid of them or do something with it. I mean, you're sitting on, it's about, a $400,000 to $500,000 asset just sitting there, so. There's no real action to take at this point.
Did you get what you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, unless, Ken, do you have any thoughts? He'd be the only last person I'd be curious to hear from. I mean, maybe this is something you take to the leisure board and see what they think. I don't know.
Ken Nielsen with Leisure Services. So I'm in agreement with the aspect of you don't want to add anything that will playground-wise or noise-wise or children playing or those things. As far as I understand, talking to Kenny, our sexton, the services can only be 30 minutes. So they do have restrictions, a lot of restrictions, and I don't think we want to add anything to influence that. I think people are really going to struggle when they know that you can't even put flowers in there.
Yeah, right.
So there's some learning curve that'll happen. And so I think it's a great idea to talk to maybe the veterans group and some of those organizations to see if they can do it. I think it's Pavilion would be, I agree with Councilman Wilkie and you others, that a pavilion would be the most I'd do.
Yeah.
It would be just more of a reflection kind of area than a park. So I would kind of look at that direction, yeah.
And we got 1 acre to work with. It's not a large piece of property, so it's not.
Pavilions aren't maintenance heavy.
Right.
Those kind of things, and you add some features that, landscape rock or whatever that, is very easy.
You don't have to take care of a lot.
Okay, that's all. We'll start the discussion.
Let's start discussion and continue to think this through a bit. Mayor, I would move that we adjourn. Oh, excuse me.
Before we move, did we need to revisit that budget discussion, or did we cover what we wanted to
No,
cover?
I think, well, Paul said he was already going to have them kind of work on the possibility of,
We'll bring back some numbers for you so you can see what it is to extend that line and then see what the numbers were on the other line too.
and again, if we just do it in the next budget revision in December, we'll do it then. I don't think, it's not like the road project's going to be done between now and December, so.
Well, and even if you budgeted that project today, it's got to be designed.
Yeah.
There's quite a few utility conflicts throughout that corridor.
Right.
Asphalt won't go in until next spring based on timing probably.
Yeah.
My thought would definitely be next week, just move forward with the budget probably as proposed, and then.
Okay, Councilman?
Yep.
Mayor, I would move that we